Chapter 10:20. Yang Yang got angry and I Yang watched and I Hua's figure, her thoughts deepening. Today was Saturday, and during dinner, Shangguan Su and Shangguan Shi came back. And I Hua, after an afternoon of rest, was in much better spirits and looked at Shangguan Shi. Xiaoxi, how are things going with you and Zuoling? Shangguan Shi was her daughter too, and she couldn't neglect her just because of the issues with Wu Yenyun. Considering Zuoling's family situation, if Shangguan Shi really married into it, the tough days would be yet to come. Shangguan Shi smiled and said, "My relationship with Zuoling is very stable, and we've cleared up the misunderstanding from last time. Actually, it's not true that his family prefers boys over girls. After all, Zuoling is a college graduate, his level of thinking and awareness aren't that low. Mom, you can rest assured." Really? And I Hua was somewhat doubtful. She always felt that there was more to the situation. Really? Shangguan Shi nodded her head. Shangguan Hui continued, "You are just too stubborn, child. You won't learn your lesson until you face some hardships." Shangguan Shi said with a laugh, "As long as Zuoling is not that type of person, everyone can stop worrying." Shangguan Granny helplessly shook her head. Her eyes filled with concern. So alike. The child was just too much like Su Fuan. Sometimes, the more you try to persuade, the more counterproductive it becomes. Shangguan Su looked at Shangguan Shi. "Do you know that Qin Jun has come back?" "Yes." Shangguan Shi nodded her head. "He even gave me a ride to my unit the day before yesterday morning." Shangguan Su joked, "Qin Jun graduated from a famous university abroad, and I see that he cares about you quite a bit. Being with him would surely be better than being with Zuoling." Phew! Shangguan Shi spit out a mouthful of rice and couldn't stop coughing. And I Hua quickly grabbed a tissue and handed it to Shangguan Shi, patting her back. "Slow down, slow down." Shangguan Shi casually wiped her mouth and looked at Shangguan Su with an expression of disbelief. "Brother, what are you joking about? Wu Lao-san and I? It's impossible." Shangguan Su said calmly, "How do you know it's impossible without trying? When it comes to family background, looks, and capability, he is at least 100 times better than Zuoling. Compared with Wu Qinjun, what was Zuoling?" It was Shangguan Zai's lack of judgment that made her fancy someone like Zuoling. Brother, please stop." An uncomfortable Shangguan, she said. "Wu Lao-san and I grew up together like close buddies. Can buddies become partners? Don't try to matchmake randomly." Shangguan Su picked up a piece of braised pork. "If you really have no thoughts about it, just ignore what I said. But if you end up with Zuoling and suffer in their family, don't come crying to me." Shangguan Shi laughed. "Don't worry, bro. I guarantee I won't come crying to you." Shangguan Su didn't say anything more. Shangguan Shi then said, "By the way, Mom and Dad, I plan to visit Zuoling's parents this week." And I Hua was startled. This quickly? If both sets of parents had met, engagement wouldn't be far off. Shangguan Hui looked at Shangguan Shi. "Xiaoxi, are you sure about this?" "Yes, I've thought it through," Shangguan Shi replied. "Sooner or later we have to meet the parents. It's better earlier than later." And I Hua frowned and then said, "Xiaoxi, don't tell Zuoling's parents about our family's true situation when you go this time. As for gifts, there's no need for anything too expensive. Just buy some fruit, bring a couple pounds of meat, and 2 pounds of brown sugar." "Ah, isn't that too shabby?" Shangguan Shi was taken aback. Shangguan Shi was originally planning to bring a box of ginseng from Changbai Mountain. Shangguan Hui put down his chopsticks. "I think your mother is right. Zuoling's family situation is too complex. If you bring expensive gifts on your first visit, you might not see their true colors." "All right," Shangguan Shi nodded. "I'll listen to you." Shangguan Shi was stubborn when it came to emotional matters, but she would still take her parents' advice on some things. After all, her parents were looking out for her best interests. After dinner, Grandma Zhang found an I Hua. "Ting Ting, did you go to see Yinyun again today?" And I Hua responded with surprise. "Mom, how did you find out?" Grandma Zhang said, "I could tell something was wrong with you this afternoon. Is Yenyun still unwilling to forgive us?" And I Hua nodded her head. Grandma Zhang sighed. "Maybe you just don't have that mother-daughter fate with her. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1021. Yang Yang got angry _2. It would be normal for Wu Yenyun to have harbored some resentment, but after such a long time, it should have faded. She had her own suffering, but Enai Tsuehua had her own grievances too. And besides, Wu Yenyun wasn't young anymore. Grandma Zhang patted Enai Tsuehua on the hand. Ting Ting, I'm going to say something you might not want to hear, but if you really can't recognize her as your daughter, then let it be. A twisted melon is never sweet. Enai Quihua's eyes reddened. But she is still my daughter. She was the one who had wronged Wu Yenyun. No matter what, she still hoped that Wu Yenyun could forgive her. As a mother herself, Grandma Zhang understood the pain in Enai Quihua's heart. The next day was Sunday. Enai Tsuehua and Shangguan Dehui, as usual, paid a visit to the children at the orphanage. Shangguan Shi went back with Zueling to meet his parents. Shangguan Shi didn't bring anything expensive, just some apples and bananas, and then 2 pounds of meat and 2 pounds of brown sugar. Zueling, do you think your uncle and auntie will like me? Shangguan Shi was a bit nervous. Zueling smiled. No way, I guarantee they'll love you. Although Zueling's parents had a preference for Chen Liebao, Zueling had made his intentions clear to them. Even if they didn't like Shangguan Shi, they'd have to feign their approval. After saying this, Zueling continued, Xiaoxi, it's Sunday today and the nanny has the day off. It's just my dad and mom at home. There's something I need to tell you in advance. Go ahead. Zueling explained. My mom used to be a little leader at her workplace, so her temper can be a bit idiosyncratic. If there's any lack of hospitality, please don't take it to heart. She's just used to giving orders, but she's not a bad person at heart. Knowing his mother's character, Zueling needed to give Shangguan Shi a heads up. Having been with Shangguan Shi for 3 years, Zueling knew that she was an empathetic and understanding girl. As long as things were explained to her, she would understand. Shangguan Shi nodded. Don't worry. Let's go then. It wasn't long before they arrived at the Zhou family home. The Zhou family lived in a residence allocated by the unit, within a courtyard where everyone knew each other. The environment in the courtyard was quite nice, neat and tidy, though it paled in comparison to the Enai family's detached courtyard house. Seeing Zueling bring a young and beautiful girl home, everyone teased him with a smile. Xiaozhua? Who's this? Your girlfriend? Yes, Auntie Five, this is my girlfriend, Shangguan Shi. Xiaoxi, this is Auntie Five. She lives above us and is also a colleague of my parents. Shangguan Shi greeted her politely. Hello, Auntie Five. Hello, my. This girl is quite pretty. No wonder Zueling wasn't interested in Chen Liebao. Compared to Shangguan Shi, Chen Liebao just didn't hold a candle. Hearing someone praise Shangguan Zai's looks, Zueling's face beamed with pride. Marrying a beautiful bride like her was his own achievement. Could Auntie Five's son ever manage to marry someone as beautiful as Shangguan Shi? The Zhou family lived on the 3rd floor in a spacious 3-bedroom apartment. The place was tidy, which also showed that Zueling's mother was a person who liked cleanliness. Shangguan Shi, who had a mild case of OCD, was relieved to see how neat and clean the Zhou family home was. Zueling's parents were sitting on the sofa. Zueling introduced Shangguan Shi to them. Dad, Mom, this is my girlfriend, Shangguan Shi. Shangguan Shi, very politely, placed the gifts she had brought aside. Hello, Uncle and Auntie. I'm Shangguan Shi. You can just call me Xiaoxi. Zueling's mother glanced sideways at the gifts Shangguan Shi had brought. Bananas, apples, meat, brown sugar, just ordinary things nobody wanted. Did they seem like a family that couldn't afford meat to her? Not bringing some nutritious and valuable gifts on the first visit, it seemed like she had no home training. Every time Chen Liebao visited, she would bring bags of good stuff, malted milk, royal bee jelly, bird's nest. And with that, she wanted to marry her son? In her dreams. Zueling's father stood up with a smile. You girl, there was no need to bring anything. Come, sit down, sit down. Zueling kept winking at his mother. Seeing it was for her son's sake, Zueling's mother stood up. We didn't know in advance you were coming, so we didn't prepare anything. Xiaoxi, would you like some tea or a soft drink? Zuoling's family was somewhat better off than average, otherwise they wouldn't have a nanny. This statement was actually a veiled boast. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1022. Yang is angry_3. Their family was enjoying drinks already, estimating Shangguanzai's family probably even struggled to get enough to eat. Auntie, you're too kind, water is fine for me. Zuoling didn't dare challenge his mother's authority. He immediately stood up and said, Mom, please sit. They'll get Xiaoxi some water. Hearing this, Zuoling's mother's face became even more unhappy. Her son was her precious darling. Zuoling had never poured her a glass of water from childhood to adulthood. Yet today he actually wanted to pour water for a little girl. They weren't even married yet, and it was already like this. What would it be like after the wedding? A woman actually letting a man serve her. She didn't know who had raised her. Shangguanxi had already informed Zuoling in advance that his mother had a peculiar temper, so she didn't take the changes in Zuoling's mother's expression to heart. Zuoling's mother pointed to the sofa and said, Sit. Thank you, Auntie. Shangguanxi sat on the sofa. Zuoling's mother also sat down and then said, Xiaoxi, I heard from Lingling that your family is from the countryside. Is that right? Yes. Shangguanxi nodded. Zuoling's mother smiled and asked, How many people are in your family altogether? Including my grandparents and my grandmother, there are 9 people, Shangguanxi said, including Wu Yenyun in her count. After all, Wu Yenyun was also a part of their family. In the countryside, supporting 3 elderly people and a few children must be quite difficult for your parents. Isn't it? Zuoling's mother asked. Shangguanxi replied, It's manageable. Manageable? Mockery filled Zuoling's mother's eyes. If it were truly manageable, then Shangguanxi wouldn't have needed to cling to Zuoling so desperately. She didn't know what kind of love potion this girl had fed to Zuoling to make him so determined to marry her. She wasn't even taking a look at herself, thinking she was worthy of Zuoling. Xiaoxi, you've seen our family's conditions. Lingling is the only son under his 7 sisters. After your uncle and I pass on, everything in the house will belong to Lingling. This child Lingling is naive, if not for... At that moment, Zuoling came over with a glass of water, interrupting his mother. Mom, race water, have some water. While passing the glass of water to his mother, he made meaningful eye contact with her. Though Shangguanxi was understanding and simple-natured, she wasn't a fool. If Zuoling's mother continued talking, this whole thing might just fall through. Zuoling certainly didn't want to marry Chen Liebao, that pig. Zuoling's mother gave Zuoling a glare as she took the glass of water. Then Zuoling passed another glass of water to Shangguanxi. Xiaoxi, drink some water. Thank you. Shangguanxi expressed her thanks. Zuoling smiled and said, What are you thanking me for? Zuoling's mother sized up Shangguanxi and then asked, Xiaoxi, how much do you weigh? Shangguanxi was stunned. Huh? What did you say? Zuoling's mother asked, I'm asking what your height and weight are. This Zuoling's mother's character was indeed peculiar. Was it normal to directly ask that kind of question? Shangguanxi subtly frowned and then replied, Mother, I'm 165 and weigh 98. A height of 165, and she weighs less than 100? That weight was not even half of Chen Libao's. Chen Liebao could probably pick up Shangguanxi with one hand. They say a fuller figure is better for bearing sons, but with Shangguanzai's frame, she might even have trouble conceiving, let alone having a son. In the 80s, it wasn't like later times. Plumpness was considered beautiful, indicating wealth in the family. A skinny appearance probably meant one couldn't fill their stomach. Zuoling's mother grew increasingly dissatisfied with Shangguanxi. Seeing that his mother's expression was turning sour, Zuoling quickly stood up and said, Mama, I'm hungry. Please start cooking. The moment she heard that her precious son was hungry, Zuoling's mother immediately stood up and went to the kitchen. Following Zuoling's pointed look, she continued, Xiaoxi, what do you like to eat? Shangguanxi smiled and said, I'm not picky, auntie. Whatever you cook is fine. During this time, Shangguanxi offered to help Zhuoling's mother but was stopped by Zhuoling. What a joke. If Zhuoling's mother continued to speak those unpleasant words, what then? He and Shangguanxi were at a crucial moment right now. The raw rice wasn't yet cooked rice. Nothing could go wrong at this juncture. Zhuoling not only stopped Shangguanxi's movements but also sweet-talked her. Xiaoxi, how can you, with your tender hands, do such work? Wait until we're married. Well, hire a nanny to let her take care of all the household chores. What girl doesn't like to hear sweet talk? Especially a girl who is deeply in love. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1023. Yang got angry _4. Really? Shangguanxi asked with her face flushed. Yes, really? Zhuoling nodded. About an hour later, it was finally time to eat. The dishes were pretty good, consisting of 5 dishes and 1 soup, 2 meat and 3 vegetarian, but it was much worse compared to the last time Zhuoling had visited the Anai family. But Shangguanxi could understand, after all, the Zhuo family's conditions were no match for theirs. Zhuo father warmly urged Shangguanxi to sit down and eat. Xiaoxi, don't be polite. Just treat this as your own home. Thank you, uncle. Auntie, you've worked hard. Zhuo mother couldn't be bothered to pay attention to Shangguanxi. Her son wasn't without prospects for a wife. She didn't feel the need to please Shangguanxi. Shangguanxi assumed Zhuo mother was just eccentric and didn't mind. After dinner, Zhuoling couldn't wait to take Shangguanxi back. Zhuo mother took the gift Shangguanxi had brought. Xiaoxi, you're too polite bringing such expensive gifts to just visit. Please take them back. Zhuo mother deliberately emphasized the word expensive. Who would crave such trivial items? Shangguanxi didn't catch the implied meaning from Zhuo mother and smiled. It's nothing expensive. Just some fruit. You don't have to be so polite. You take them back, continued Zhuo mother. Take them back for the elders at home to enjoy. It must have been a long time since you've had meat in the village, right? Ah, Shangguanxi was stunned. Zhuoling quickly took the items from Zhuo mother's hands, smiling. Mom, why be so formal with Xiaoxi? Since she specifically bought them to show her respect, you should just accept them. Zhuo mother looked at Zhuoling with a face full of disappointment. That Shangguanxi, with a poor family background, couldn't even bear sons. She wondered what Zhuoling saw in her. It was simply bewitchment. As soon as the two left, Zhuo mother's expression turned cold. What's this all about? Zhuo father asked curiously. Do you think she's worthy of our Lingling? Zhuo mother asked, pointing outside. Before meeting Shangguanxi, Zhuo father also thought she wasn't worthy of Zhuoling. But having seen her, he now thought Chen Liebao wasn't worthy of Zhuoling men. Who wouldn't prefer someone beautiful? Chen Liebao looked like a pig and was unapproachable. Besides her poor family background, everything else is tolerable, the grandfather said. Tolerable? What can I say? You think her petite frame looks like she can bear sons? Zhuo mother angrily said, do you want to see the Zhuo family lineage end with your son? Zhuo mother understood women well. Because she was too thin, she couldn't bear a son. Just have more children. Zhuo father wasn't concerned. Have more? It's easy for you to say. Zhuo mother poked Zhuo father's forehead. Do you think it's still our time? You could have as many as you want. Now, even if one of the couple is not a worker, you can only have 2. Then Zhuo mother continued. And look, what did she bring to our house? Compare it with what Liebao brings every time. And another thing, I was exhausted in the kitchen, and she didn't even offer to help. She really thinks she's some kind of precious lady. What good is having such a bride back home? Just to worship her as an ancestor? At this, Zhuo father nodded. It seems you do have a point. It is the point, Zhuo mother continued. Besides, after marrying Liebao, Lingling wouldn't have to worry if he doesn't work for the rest of his life. Marrying Shangguanxi, what can she offer him? Just a burden. Zhuo father, who was indecisive, was convinced by Zhuo mother in just a few sentences. Then when Lingling comes back, well, talk to him about it. On the other side, Zuoling brought Shangguanxi to the roadside. Shangguanxi said, Zuoling, I feel like your aunt doesn't like me much. She wasn't foolish. Of course, she could see that Zuo mother had issues with her, and they were not minor. Zuoling chuckled, Don't overthink it. My mom is just like that. Didn't I tell you beforehand? Xiaoxi, in my heart, you've always been an empathetic and good girl. Are you going to let this cause a rift between us? Shangguanxi said, No, it's just that if this keeps up, there will definitely be conflicts between your aunt and me. As you know, mother-in-law and daughter-in-law conflicts have always been a major issue in families. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1024 Yang Angry _5 Zuoling continued, Actually, I've thought about it long ago. After we get married, we'll move out and then visit our elders once a week. Nowadays, many young people do that. Xiaoxi, you're living your life with me, not with my mother. You really don't need to worry about these issues. Really? Shangguanxi looked up at Zuoling. Of course it's true. Zuoling nodded. I can swear to the heavens. With that, Zuoling raised 3 fingers. Shangguanxi smiled and said, There's no need for oaths. I believe you, Zuoling. You can't let me down. Xiaoxi, rest assured, I will never let you down. Great. Shangguanxi nodded. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, another 10 days passed. Yang had finished her exams at school, and it was time for winter break. It had been over 10 days. Wu Yenyun should have calmed down by now. Having nothing to do that day, Yang put on her woolen coat and prepared to drive to see Wu Yenyun. In such cold weather, Yang certainly didn't want to ride a bicycle there. She had bought this car not long ago. A domestic car, 30,000 yuan. It looked very ordinary on the outside, but the interior was impressively well equipped. The car was modified with very high-end configurations. However, only those who knew cars would notice that. Yang was not a showy person, so she had bought a domestic car. Yang, where are you going? Yang had just put on her gloves when Cuihua came downstairs. I'm going to find Yenyun, Yang replied. Then I'll go with you? Cuihua suggested. Yang smiled slightly and declined. Mom, I should go alone. If Yenyun sees you, she might get emotional again. Don't worry, I will talk to her. Remembering the last experience, Cuihua sighed. Then go ahead. But if... She didn't know what to say next. Yang patted Cuihua's shoulder. Mom, don't worry, I know what I'm doing. All right. Cuihua nodded. Then go early and come back early. Okay. Cuihua watched Yang's car disappear from view before turning to go back inside. Yang has gone? Old Lady Zheng came out of the house. Yes. Old Lady Zheng's gaze was distant. I hope Yenyun can listen to Yang's words. Cuihua nodded. In a little while, Yang drove to the community where the Wu family lived. Coincidentally, as soon as she drove in, she saw Wu Yenyun sunbathing downstairs with Wu Xiaolong. Yang slowly parked the car across the road from Wu Yenyun, got out, and walked over. Yenyun. Wu Yenyun looked up and saw Yang, smiling with a light in her eyes. Yang was wearing a goose-yellow cheongsam that day, covered by an off-white woolen coat, her black hair flowing down her back, just like the first time she met Yang. Yang looked like an ethereal fairy, shining brightly, and she was just an unwanted wild girl, suffering the hardships of the world. Now Yang even had a car. What did she have as sisters born of the same mother? After more than half a month, Yang finally appeared. She had thought Yang would never show up again. Yenyun. Yang called again. Wu Yenyun pretended not to hear Yang's voice and lowered her head to play with Wu Xiaolong. However, Wu Erlong and Wu Delong, on the side, excitedly ran over, Sister Yang, Dalong Erlong. Yang patted both brothers' heads. Wu Erlong complained, Sister and I Yang. Im Erlong. And I Yang apologized with a smile. Sorry, Erlong. It was a slip of the tongue. Wu Erlong said, It's okay. It's okay. Oh, Sister and I Yang. My big sister has been acting like she's sick these few days. She even lost her temper at Auntie Hua last time. Don't be mad at her later. Our teacher says not to argue with sick people. And I Yang nodded. I understand. You two go play. Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong ran off to play. And I Yang approached Wu Yenyun. Yenyun. Wu Yenyun acted as if she didn't hear an I Yang. And I Yang's expression remained unchanged. And without getting angry, she spoke in a gentle tone. Yenyun, can we talk for a bit? Talk about what? Wu Yenyun looked up at an I Yang. Her eyes filled with heavy hostility. And I Yang kept a smile in her eyes and spoke. Let's talk about our family's situation. I know you're angry and feel wronged, but Mom really was powerless back then. You haven't experienced it yourself, you don't know what that feeling of helplessness is like. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1025. Yang Yang got angry _6. Wu Yenyun looked at an I Yang. Her mouth curved in a mocking arch. That's your family. It has nothing to do with me. You don't need to tell me these things. I don't want to listen. That's your family too. My family. Wu Yenyun continued. A daughter born into a poor family like mine could never ascend to such a powerful, wealthy household. Yenyun. Why don't we find a place to cool off and talk over some drinks? If the person in front of her wasn't her own flesh and blood sister, and I Yang would not have displayed such patience. Just go, I don't want to see you. From now on, our two families will have nothing to do with each other. It's best if we never interact again. And I Yang frowned subtly, clearly noting that Wu Yenyun's words were in no way a joke. At the same time, and I Yang knew what Wu Yenyun was upset about. She was simply envious upon seeing the Ni family's current good days, remembering the hardships she endured over the years, feeling the injustice. Yenyun, do you know what life was like for Mom and me before I turned 17? Wu Yenyun didn't say a word, and I Yang continued. Mom was 9 months pregnant, not only enduring my grandmother and father's beatings, but also taking on all the dirty and tiring chores like an old ox. Yunyun is the 5th child. After she was born, when Grandma saw she was a girl, she immediately wanted to throw her to the wild dogs in the back hills. It was only my quick thinking that saved Yunyun. 3 days after Yunyun was born, my father's mistress, Li Shu, schemed to sell me to her relative for 1,000 yuan. Do you know what kind of person her relative was? He was a 50-something eunuch. Recalling that period, and I Yang couldn't help but get teary-eyed, her vision blurred by tears. That past seemed like another lifetime. In her previous life, she had suffered for 10 years before escaping from that misery. No one knew how heart-wrenching that past was. No one knew what kind of torment she endured. Later, because I accidentally saved 2 influential nobles, with their help, Mom and I managed to get divorced smoothly, and we took Yunyun to Beijing. When we first arrived in Beijing, we had no place to stay until Aunt and I rented half of her courtyard to us. After settling in Beijing, I started a noodle business. Every morning at around 2, I would get up to prepare everything for the stall. More than 200 kilograms of liquids, all transported to the street on my bicycle. Whether it was windy or rainy, I never missed a day. Below every glamorous appearance lies a heart full of scar. Since coming to Beijing, An Yang never shared these experiences with anyone, because An Yang was never one to expose her scars and capitalize on others' sympathy. Wu Yenyun was the first. Later on, my noodle business improved and I got my first storefront in Beijing, then a second. Mom might be the daughter of the Zheng family, but she was only recently acknowledged by my grandparents. Before that, our life was not any more comfortable than yours. At this point, An Yang looked up at Wu Yenyun. Yenyun, I hope you can let go of the hatred in your heart. Forgive Mom, and forgive us just this once. Do you think playing the victim here is interesting? Wu Yenyun asked. And Ai Yang narrowed her eyes slightly, a fleeting trace of scorn passing across her gaze. You think I'm playing the victim? It turned out that after saying so much in Wu Yanyan's eyes, it amounted to just playing the victim. Isn't it? Wu Yanyun retorted. Who knew if what Ai Yang was saying was true? Based on Ai Yang alone, did she have the ability to bring Ai Tsuehua and little Ai Yun to Beijing? Based on Ai Yang alone, could she have achieved what she has today? She doesn't even think about how old she is this year. Did she really think herself a fool? Could she be so easily manipulated? She portrayed herself as so pitiful, simply to make herself believe her. This is what they owed her. Why should she believe her? And Ai Yang, you clearly knew long ago that I was your sister, yet you kept it to yourself. Do you think I don't know what you're thinking? Do you really think you're the only smart person in the world and everyone else is a fool? And Ai Yang's face showed little emotion. Her gaze was chillingly cold. She had never imagined that one day she would stand opposite her own flesh and blood sister. Head-to-head confrontation. Until the paternity test results came out, I couldn't be sure you were my sister. Once the results were in, I informed Mom immediately. I can honestly say, I've done nothing to you that needs forgiveness. Wu Yenyun laughed softly. You always have your reasons. Do you really think those reasons can cover up your filthy heart? Let me tell you, Ai Yang, you, your mom, and your family don't ever expect to receive my forgiveness in this lifetime. I never want to see you again. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1026. The grumpy President Nini Yang was no saint, and she acknowledged she owed Wu Yenyun nothing. She had said all that needed to be said, and since Wu Yenyun did not understand her and had even cast her as a villain beyond redemption, there was no need for her to humbly beg for Wu Yanyun's forgiveness. And Ai Yang was never one to swallow her pride. She certainly had no masochistic tendencies. Are these words you spoke today truly from the heart? And Ai Yang slightly lifted her gaze, her eyes tranquil and undisturbed. Wu Yenyun was stunned for a moment. She had never seen Ai Yang like this. She had thought Ai Yang would continue to plead with her, but instead, Ai Yang was so calm, so eerily composed that it put a chill in Wu Yanyun's heart. They were only a year apart in age, but in that moment, Wu Yenyun felt as though she were standing before an elder. Why should Ai Yang stand before her with such an air of superiority? It was Ai Yang who owed her. Hadn't Ai Yang come to seek her out? Who begs with such an attitude? Ridiculous. Yes, Wu Yenyun said. Every word I've spoken today is a reflection of my true feelings. Ai Yang, I am not your sister and certainly don't have such a noble and graceful sister. Please, along with your mother and your so-called distinguished family members, stop coming to find me from now on. Are you sure you won't regret this? Yenyun, I owe you nothing, and even if Mom owed you something, it is settled now. Regardless, I hope you can calm down and seriously consider what I've said. Ai Yang's face was devoid of expression, her voice cool and indifferent, yet Wu Yenyun trembled without feeling the cold, not even having the courage to glance at Ai Yang. Wu Yenyun swallowed hard. Yes, I have no regrets. Ai Yang, you haven't suffered my pains. You will never have the right to stand before me and pass judgment. The reason you can stand so high and mighty and criticize me from a moral high ground is because the person being discarded was me, not you. If you were in my shoes, you might not be as magnanimous as I am. If the person who had been discarded was Ai Yang, then it would be her shining brightly today. What right had Ai Yang to treat her this way? She would never regret it. She would never regret making a clean break with the Ai family. All right, I understand. Ai Yang nodded slightly, turned, and walked towards her car. Not an ounce of hesitation, nor a trace of sorrow on her face. Watching Ai Yang's retreating figure, Wu Yenyun suddenly felt an overwhelming sadness well up. Abandoned her. Her own sister had given up on her. Just like she was thrown away 17 years ago. A mocking smile played on Wu Yanyun's lips. and Ai Tsuehua had not shown her face since her last visit. Today, it was only Enai Yang who had come. They all claimed to be children of the Enai family, but not one of them sincerely wanted to acknowledge her as part of the family. False affection. Such family members were better off rejected. Enai Yang drove away. She had not expected this outcome. Wu Yenyun was, after all, her biological sister. To say that Enai Yang felt nothing would be a lie. But it wasn't to the point of being devastated. What to do when feeling down? According to President Enai, the answer was street racing. At this time, the roads in Beijing weren't as congested as in previous lifetimes, perfect for racing. Enai Yang gripped the steering wheel with both hands and floored the accelerator. Swift as the wind, the black sedan sped along, and when the adrenaline reached its peak, all worries and vexations were washed away. What a thrilling sensation! After driving for a while and feeling a bit hot, Enai Yang rolled down the left side window. The cold wind poured in, tossing her hair into disarray, creating a wildly beautiful chaos. Seeing the car ahead perform a spectacular drift, Wu Daming quickly pulled off to the side. My God! Who is that? They're driving like they're heading for the sky. Li Ronghua in the passenger seat also gazed ahead in amazement. It looks like the driver is a girl. A girl? Could a girl really be that good? It can't be a girl, right? Wu Daming watched the sedan disappearing into the horizon and finally managed to say, It is a girl. I saw her hair flying out of the car. Li Ronghua looked disdainfully at Wu Daming. Wu Daming, you're really not up to snuff? To be outdone by a girl? Wu Daming. In his life, he had only been defeated by one girl, and that was Enai Yang. He hadn't expected to lose to another today. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1027. Grumpy Mr. Enai _2. He didn't know which girl was so revered. He wondered who was more formidable when compared to Enai Yang. After circling Sijio City, Enai Yang finally drove home. Everyone at home had gathered, apparently waiting for Enai Yang's results. Yang! Enai Quihua's eyes, originally dim, lit up instantly upon seeing Enai Yang. Mom! The house was heated by a stove, and Enai Yang casually took off his coat and placed it on the sofa. What did Yenyun say? Enai Tsuehua continued to ask. Enai Yang shook his head. Mom, you shouldn't go looking for her anymore. If Wu Yenyun hadn't disappointed Enai Yang, he wouldn't have said such a thing. This child, why was he so stubborn? Enai Quihua's eyes reddened instantly. Grandma Zhang sighed. I knew it would end like this. Ting Ting, don't be too upset. Even without Yenyun, you still have Yang Yang and little Yunyun. Grandpa Zhang said. Your mother is right. Since that child doesn't have a mother-daughter fate with you, some things can't be forced. If it weren't for a DNA test, Grandpa Zhang might even think there had been a mistake. Wu Yanyun's nature really didn't seem like it came from the Zhang family. Mom, don't be upset. Enai Yang took Enai Quihua's hand. Tell me honestly, when you and my grandparents went to see her before, did she also show them disdain? If Wu Yenyun showed disdain towards Enai Tsuehua, Enai Yang could understand her. If Wu Yenyun despised even the innocent elderly, then Enai Yang could only say that Wu Yenyun was utterly heartless. Extremely heartless. Hearing this, Enai Tsuehua fell silent. It wasn't just disdain, but reflecting on this, Enai Tsuehua felt a bit guilty, remembering how her elderly parents had been hit by a younger person that day. Seeing Enai Tsuehua like this, Enai Yang knew what had happened. Mom, just forget this daughter from now on, and don't go looking for her anymore. If you don't listen, you will only embarrass yourself. Enai Tsuehua looked up at Enai Yang. Do you think Yenyun will understand when she's older? Wu Yenyun was still young this year. Maybe she would change in a few years? Before Enai Yang could speak, Shangguan Dehui said, Dia, have you forgotten how old Yang Yang was when he brought you out of Dam Village? That year, Enai Yang was exactly 17 years old. Enai Yang was 17 years old, just like Wu Yenyun. The two 17-year-olds were worlds apart. Enai Tsuehua fell silent. Grandpa Zhang said, "Ting Ting, let it be. We've tried our best, and we can be at peace with that." Grandpa Zhang himself also wished to bring back his stranded granddaughter. But this child really couldn't be helped. Children are predestined. Some things simply can't be forced. And Cuihua nodded. So be it. In the first half of her life, she suffered so much due to poor judgment. In the second half, she didn't want to cause any conflicts with her close family over a daughter who had become estranged from her. Did she really have to abandon little Niyun? Break the mother-daughter relationship with Niyang? Impossible. Never possible. Grandma Zhang and Shangguan she went over to comfort Cuihua. Shangguan she had met Wu Yenyun. Her first impression of Wu Yenyun was that she was well-mannered and sensible. She didn't expect Wu Yenyun would do something so heart-wrenching. Quite unexpected. Fortunately, Cuihua wasn't the type to dwell on things, and after some persuasion from several people, her mood gradually stabilized. Wu Daming was driving Li Ronghua back home. As soon as the car reached the entrance of the village, he was stunned. "When was this highway in your village built? You should know that more than half a year ago, Jinghua village still had dirt roads. During rainy days it would be muddy and cars couldn't enter. But now there was such a spacious concrete road." Li Ronghua said with a smile. "Yang paid for the construction." "Sixth sister." "Yes." Li Ronghua nodded. "Sixth sister is really amazing," Wu Daming said enviously. "Why can't our village have a capable person like sixth sister?" Previously, Jinghua village had nothing, being the poorest among the villages in all directions. Since Niyang arrived, Jinghua village could be said to change every day. Now, if Jinghua village claimed to be number 1, which surrounding village would dare to claim to be number 2? If it wasn't seen with one's own eyes, no one would believe that Jinghua village could change so much in such a short time. Niyang was so amazing, and Li Ronghua was also proud. "That's right. Yang is really our village's lucky star. Go around the village and ask, from 70 to 80-year-olds to 2 to 3-year-olds, who doesn't like Yang?" Even people from the neighboring villages were especially envious of Jinghua village. At that moment, as they drove past the Ni family's small courtyard, Li Ronghua suddenly sat up straight and looked out of the window. "Slow down, slow down. What's wrong?" Wu Daming was somewhat puzzled. Li Ronghua pointed to a small black car parked outside. "Doesn't that car look familiar?" Wu Daming squinted his eyes. "It does seem a bit." After a moment of thought, Wu Daming continued, "Isn't that car the one we just saw on the street? Damn, the person driving the car just now couldn't be Yang. Could it?" Wu Daming swallowed his throat. Li Ronghua and Wu Daming thought of the same thing. The person who was driving just now was Yang, wasn't it? If that's really the case, sixth sister is too amazing, Wu Daming exclaimed. Li Ronghua looked at Wu Daming. "Anyway, she's much more capable than you. Look at you, Wu Daming, you're not even as good as a girl. Aren't you embarrassed?" Wu Daming said meaningfully. "Then I'm still better than some who can't even drive." After speaking, Wu Daming added, "Not only can't drive, but they're also fierce like a man. If any man marries her, he's really out of luck." "Who are you talking about?" Li Ronghua glared at Wu Daming menacingly. Wu Daming grinned and countered, "I'm just talking about some girls, not you. Why are you so excited? Do you act like a man?" Li Ronghua, unable to vent his frustration, glared fiercely at Wu Daming. "Stop the car!" Wu Daming didn't hear her properly. Li Ronghua raised his voice and yelled, "I told you to stop the car!" Deafening. Wu Daming shuddered and immediately hit the brakes. What's wrong? "I want to get out." Li Ronghua grabbed her backpack, got out of the car, and slammed the door shut. Wu Daming scratched his head innocently. "This person is really sick?" Li Ronghua, who hadn't walked far, turned to look at him, her face gentle. "What did you say?" Wu Daming looked up at the sky and said earnestly, "I said the weather today is really nice." Li Ronghua gave him a look and then walked ahead. Wu Daming stretched his neck. "Comrade Li Ronghua, are you sure you don't want me to drive you?" Li Ronghua, without turning back, waved her hand. "No need. Wu Daming had no choice but to turn the car around, preparing to go back. Beep beep beep. Just then, the right side window was knocked on. Wu Daming rolled down the window, revealing a face as beautiful as a painting. Sixth sister. And Young smiled and said, Wu Daming, what brought you here? Wu Daming replied, It's all because I had to drive that tomboy back. Tomboy? And Young raised an eyebrow slightly. Who? Wu Daming looked back and whispered very softly, That tomboy, Li Ronghua. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1028. This is the gap. So Wu Daming was talking about Li Ronghua. And Young laughed and said, Sister Ronghua is pretty good, isn't she? Where does she look like a tomboy? Wu Daming looked at Young as if he saw a monster. Even like this, she doesn't look like a tomboy? And Young said, Look how good Sister Ronghua is. She's tall, has good looks, a job, and even a high salary. Her personality isn't bad either. She's loving towards her brother and respectful to her parents. For a girl to be like her is already quite remarkable. Compared to other women her age, Li Ronghua really stood out. She had everything that one could ask for, and didn't lose to anyone else. Wu Daming scratched his head. Sixth sister-in-law, you're so close to her, of course you would speak on her behalf. How come he never noticed all of Li Ronghua's good qualities? To him, Li Ronghua always looked like a tomboy, the kind that can't get married. And Young, smiling, said, I'm just speaking the truth. Oh, by the way, do you want to come over to my place? Wu Daming waved his hands. No, I've got other things to do. Oh right, sixth sister-in-law, the sixth brother will be back in a couple of days. And Young nodded. I know. How do you know? Wu Daming looked surprised. And Young said, He's in C-City, not abroad. We talk on the phone every day. Oh. As they were speaking, Wu Daming seemed to remember something, then said, Sixth sister-in-law, is that your car? Yeah. Wu Daming continued, Sixth sister-in-law, you must be really skilled at driving, right? By the end, his eyes were gleaming. And Young modestly said, Of course, how else would I be your sixth sister-in-law? Wu Daming, full of admiration, said, Sixth sister-in-law, you're so amazing. I knew it must have been you I saw on the street that time. Now he finally understood why Mo Chishan fell for Young. You saw me on the street? Young was somewhat surprised. Wu Daming nodded. Yeah, I saw your car nearly flying. Thinking about that scene still made his heart race and his blood boil. Keep it low-key. Young, smiling, patted Wu Daming's shoulder. At that moment, Shangguan Su stood on the second-floor balcony and called out to Young, Yang, you've got a phone call. Oh, coming. Young turned to Wu Daming and said, I'll go back inside then. If you have time, come over to my place with Brother Mo. Sure. Wu Daming nodded. Young went inside to answer the phone. It was Li Tong who had called. She simply wanted to meet up with Young to buy a few more boxes of the limited edition Ice Jade Skin. Young readily agreed to meet Li Tong. They agreed to meet the next morning. Shangguan Shi came over from the other side, curiously asking, Yang, who was that? Young replied, A new friend I just met. She's looking to buy some Ice Jade Skin from me. Oh, Shangguan Shi nodded. The next morning, just as Young was about to leave, two unexpected guests arrived at her home. It was Lu Qi and Lu Ru. Young, are your uncle and aunt at home? Although Young had some small issues with Lu Ru, Lu Qi's character was really beyond reproach, so she nodded. My mom is at home. I'll take you inside. As visitors came, after entering the house, Young went to pour water for the siblings. Thank you, said Lu Ru, accepting the glass and taking the initiative to thank her. Young looked at Lu Ru with some surprise. You're welcome. Time really is a wonderful thing. It could even polish a haughty young miss into this. You could tell that Lu Ru had indeed changed a lot. In fact, after all these experiences, Lu Ru had definitely grown up. Looking back, it all felt like a dream. If time could start over, she would definitely not covet those things that didn't belong to her. She would be down to earth. And Ai Tsuehua came downstairs and was surprised to see the siblings. Lu Qi and Lu Ru stood up from the sofa to greet her actively. "Auntie," and Ai Tsuehua said with a smile, "Have a seat. What brings you two here?" She had thought that these siblings would have left for Taiwan Island long ago. Lu Qi said, "Auntie, my sister and I are preparing to go back to Taiwan Island, so we specially came over to tell you. This would probably be his last time seeing the Enai family and Enai Yang. Since it was his mother who had wronged Enai Tsuehua, he felt it was only right to speak to Enai Tsuehua before leaving. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1029. This is the gap_2. Sorry not to live up to my own conscience. And Ai Tsuehua was stunned. "What about your parents?" Lu Qi said. "They have also been transferred to the prison on Taiwan Island." And Ai Tsuehua nodded. "Are you flying out?" "Yes, on the flight tonight," Lu Qi answered. "Then I wish you a smooth journey." "Auntie, thank you." Lu Qi and Lu Ru both stood up and bowed to Enai Tsuehua. After speaking with Enai Tsuehua about this matter, the siblings said their goodbyes. Enai Tsuehua and Enai Yen saw them out to the door. As they stepped out of the Enai family's courtyard, Zhao Shuiwei arrived. Zhao Shuiwei was carrying a bag of things. "Auntie." Zhao Shuiwei nodded and stuffed the things in her hand into Lu Qi's hands. "Take this with you to eat on the way." Inside was a pastry Zhao Shuiwei had made herself. Lu Qi had especially loved these pastries the first time he visited Zhao Shuyu's home. "Auntie, thank you." Zhao Shuiwei sighed. "Xiaoqi, your parents are your parents. You are you. After returning to Taiwan Island, forget the things of Beijing and start a new life with Xiaoru." "Okay." Lu Qi nodded. "Auntie, you also take good care of yourself." "I will, off you go." "Auntie, goodbye." Zhao Shuiwei waved to the siblings. The siblings glanced back at Zhao Shuyu's stooping figure. Their eyes slightly reddened. Especially Lu Ru. She now regretted her past behavior immensely. It was her fault. She owed Zhao Shuiwei an apology. After Lu Qi and Lu Ru left, Enai Yen drove to the place arranged with Li Tong. Seeing Enai Yen get out of a small sedan, Li Tong exclaimed in surprise, "Enai Yen, you can drive?" Enai Yen nodded. "That's really amazing." Li Tong continued, "How did you learn?" "It took me over a month just to learn to ride a bicycle." "How long did you take to learn this?" Enai Yen smiled. "It's easier than a bicycle." "Really?" Li Tong expressed skepticism. Enai Yen nodded. "Really?" Li Tong thought to herself that when she had money, she would also buy a small car to drive. But the day when she would have money seemed not too far off. The effects of were extremely good. The elders in the family were very happy, and Li Tong was also excited. "Right. Hey, race the you wanted." And Ai Yen took out 3 boxes of from the passenger seat and handed them to Li Tong. "Thank you, and Ai Yen." Seeing the Li Tong's eyes lit up. These were limited edition versions, impossible to buy in the market. It was because Enai Yen was kind and willing to do her this favor. "You're welcome." Enai Yen smiled slightly. Li Tong then said, "It's also time for lunch. Let me treat you to lunch." "Then I won't be polite." "Don't be polite with me. We are friends after all." Li Tong took Enai Yen to a restaurant, and the two chatted and ate, getting along splendidly. Elsewhere at Ihua University, ever since using Zhang Qiuying's skin had just gotten better and better. Now Wang Lisha was becoming restless. Since her skin was somewhat similar to Zhang Qiuying's, both dry, and both prone to flaking in the winter. Seeing Zhang Qiuying's skin becoming increasingly hydrated while her own was drying out, flaking worse, how could she not be distressed? After much inquiring, she finally found a physical store selling and bought facial cleanser and aloe vera gel back. But she hadn't managed to get the best-selling whitening and moisturizing cream. After using the facial cleanser and aloe vera gel for only 2 days, the flakiness of Wang Lisha's skin had improved a lot. Wang Lisha, looking at herself in the mirror, was very happy, but the thought of not managing to buy the whitening moisturizer made her smile fade. If the normal facial cleanser and aloe gel could have such good results, then the limited edition could only be better. One look at Zhang Qiuying was proof enough. Zhang Qiuying's skin now is more than 10 times better than hers. She isn't any less attractive than Zhang Qiuying. If she could use the limited edition products, she would surely be even more beautiful. Just then, footsteps sounded from outside. Ah, Wang Lisha. I was wondering why your skin has been getting better these past few days. It turns out you've been sneakily using the Ice Jade Skin Cream. I remember just a few days ago, certain people were saying that the Ice Jade Skin Cream would ruin your face. So, does your face hurt now? Because she was afraid of being mocked by Zhang Qiuying, Wang Lisha had been secretly using the Ice Jade Skin Cream. Now that Zhang Qiuying had seen her, there was no need to hide it anymore. What? Is the Ice Jade Skin Cream your family's property? Are you the only one allowed to use it? Wang Lisha retorted. Wang Lisha had regrets as well. If she had known how great the Ice Jade Skin Cream was, she wouldn't have fallen out with Zhang Qiuying so badly. Zhang Qiuying smiled and said, Miss Wang, I have to say, your face is exceptionally thick. If I were you, even at the risk of death, I wouldn't use the Ice Jade Skin Cream. Wang Lisha wanted to respond with sarcasm, but remembering that she still needed something from Zhang Qiuying, her attitude softened. Mind your own business. After speaking, Wang Lisha picked up a box of cookies and handed it to Zhang Qiuying. These are from my mom. Sent over from our side. You can't buy them in Beijing. Zhang Qiuying looked at Wang Lisha strangely. Are you sick? Wang Lisha didn't respond. Instead, she grabbed another box of cookies and stuffed it into Li Huilan's arms. Here, this is for you. Li Huilan was just as surprised by Wang Lisha's actions. Zhang Qiuying continued, Wang Lisha, you didn't put poison in the cookies, did you? Take it or leave it. Wang Lisha glanced at Zhang Qiuying. I'm off to the cafeteria. Watching Wang Lisha's retreating figure, Zhang Qiuying wondered to herself, am I dreaming? Could Wang Lisha actually be this nice? Something doesn't feel right. Li Huilan said, I also feel she's acting a bit off today. Zhang Qiuying's eyes fell on the Ice Jade Skin Cream nearby. Smiling, she said, I think I know what's going on. What is it? Li Huilan asked curiously. Zhang Qiuying said, I'll keep it a secret for now. You'll find out in a few days. Today was the day Mo Qishan returned. And Yang had arranged on the phone with Mo Qishan last night to go eat Japanese food together today. After their meal, the two strolled through the streets of Beijing, getting ready to buy movie tickets at the cinema. Wu Yenyun has been in a very bad mood these past few days, because for several days, the Ni family hadn't sought her out again. She had an intuition that the Ni family might have genuinely given up on her as their daughter, even though she had always refused to acknowledge the Ni family. But now that the Ni family didn't come to claim her, she felt empty inside, a strange and uncomfortable sensation. She wondered if Ni Tsuehua had ever truly considered her a biological daughter. If Ni Tsuehua had, would she not come to claim her now? Aren't they mother and daughter? Perhaps she could never measure up to Ni Yang and little Ni Yun in Ni Kuihua's heart. That was the difference. If they didn't acknowledge her, then so be it. Without the Ni family, she could still live well. She was determined to make everyone take notice. Wu Yenyun heaved a deep sigh. Preoccupied, Wu Yenyun didn't notice a car speeding close by. By the time Wu Yenyun realized, the car was already about to hit her. Her face turned pale in an instant. At that moment, someone grasped her arm, and with a strong pull, she was yanked away. The car narrowly missed her by inches. It was incredibly dangerous. Are you okay? A concerned voice came from above her. Wu Yenyun let out a sigh of relief, feeling an exhilarating sense of having narrowly escaped death. That was close. She was nearly hit by the car. She should thank her savior properly. Wu Yenyun looked up and her smile froze on her lips. Why is it you? Could it be that Ni Yang arranged for the car? Definitely Ni Yang. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1030. Sisterhood Broken. All of this was orchestrated by Ni Yang. Did Ni Yang really think she could use such despicable means to make herself feel grateful, to forgive her? Did she think she was so easy to deceive? She wasn't a 3-year-old child. I don't need your help. Wu Yenyun pushed Ni Yang away. Ni Yang, stop with your fake kindness here. Don't think I don't know what you're really thinking. Who are you putting on this show for? You really make me sick. Ni Yang didn't fight back and just watched Wu Yenyun, a layer of desolation welling up inside her. Saving Wu Yenyun was no accident. No matter what, this person was her own sister, and she couldn't remain indifferent and let Wu Yenyun die right there. If she had still held a sliver of hope for this sister before, now, she was thoroughly disappointed in her. Mo Qishan slightly furrowed his brow. Ni Yang had already told him about Wu Yanyun's situation over the phone. Although he had long known that Wu Yenyun refused to acknowledge the Ni family, he hadn't expected her to be this excessive. If it hadn't been for Ni Yang just now, who knows what state she would be in if that small sedan had hit her, and now she's treating Ni Yang like this. Ni Yang might tolerate it, seeing Wu Yenyun as her sister, but he couldn't. Who do you think you are? Mo Qishan grabbed Wu Yanyun's wrist. If it weren't for Yang, could you be living like this now? You're ungrateful. Neither Ni Yang nor Ni Tsuehua had ever cursed at her like this. Wu Yenyun was stunned, looking incredulously at Mo Qishan. She was the one who had been abandoned, so how could she be the ungrateful one? It was Ni Tsuehua and Ni Yang who had wronged her. What right did Mo Qishan have to blame her? Just because he was Ni Yang's boyfriend? Because he was Ni Yang's boyfriend, could Mo Qishan just ignore the facts? Mo Qishan looked at Wu Yenyun with a very cold expression. Even Ni Yang had never seen such a side of Mo Qishan. His lips were tightly pursed. His cold features seemed to be covered with an impenetrable layer of thin ice, and he exuded a violent air that was vastly different from his usual gentle demeanor. Wu Yenyun, ask yourself, if it weren't for Yang, could you live as comfortably as you do now? Your family's house belongs to Yang. Your father's company was funded by Yang's money. Even your life was saved by Yang. Think about it, how many times has Yang saved you? What right do you have to yell at Yang? The kind of person Mo Qishan hated most in his life was an ungrateful one like Wu Yenyun. If Wu Yenyun weren't Ni Yang's sister, Mo Qishan wouldn't have this kind of patience. But he had to give Ni Yang some face. She owes me. Wu Yenyun choked out. Yang owes you? What does she owe you? As your older sister, she owes you nothing. Mo Qishan continued. If anything, it's you who owes Yang. Think about it yourself, everything you eat, use, and wear, isn't it all because of Yang? Wu Yenyun, if you truly have any pride, then from today on, stop using anything that belongs to Yang. Without Ni Yang's help, what was Wu Yenyun? She wouldn't even be able to attend school. Rest assured, I will never use anything of Ni Yang's again. Wu Yenyun turned to look at Ni Yang. They were all forcing her. All of them, and it wasn't even her fault to begin with. Why were they treating her like this? You'd better remember your words today. Mo Qishan released Wu Yenyun without any mercy. His voice was even colder than ice. Due to the sudden force, Wu Yenyun fell hard to the ground, feeling a sharp pain shoot through her palm as it made contact with the floor. Just then, a dark shadow enveloped Wu Yenyun. She looked up. It was Ni Yang. What did she want to do? Mock her with a few taunting words? Wu Yenyun bit her lip, her eyes filled with resentment. Ni Yang looked down at Wu Yenyun from above and took a white pearl bracelet off her hand. Now that it's come to this, the sisterly bond between us is also over. As she finished speaking, the pearl necklace slid from Ni Yang's hand to the ground. Snap! The thread broke upon hitting the floor. White pearls scattered all over. In that moment, Wu Yanyan's tears surged forth, just like these beads that had broken off their string. That pearl bracelet was what she had bought with her first month's salary as a gift for Ni Yang. It wasn't expensive, just 5 yuan. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1031. Sisterhood ends. _2. But the significance of this was immense. At that time, she didn't know that Ni Yang was her sister. At that time, they were as close as sisters. Even after the last major fallout, Ni Yang didn't take off the bracelet. But this time, Wu Yanyan couldn't quite describe how she felt. Was she the one who was wrong? But it clearly wasn't her fault. Was being discarded also a mistake? "Let's go," said Emochishan as he took Ni Yang's hand. But in an instant, he reverted to his usual cheerful demeanor. It's as if the man radiating hostility was nothing but an illusion. Wu Yanyan watched their retreating backs, unable to get up from the ground for a long time. "Ni Yang!" Wu Yanyan shouted. "What are you worth without the Zheng family? If the one thrown away were you, I would be you now." "You're mistaken." Ni Yang glanced back slightly. "Without the Zheng family, I would still be me. And if the one thrown away were me and not you, then you wouldn't necessarily be you." Everything Ni Yang had was earned through her own abilities. She had never relied on anyone. Even in her previous life, when she became the famous entrepreneur Miss Ni, she never depended on anybody. The word rely wasn't in her dictionary. Considering Wu Yanyan's current situation, she might not have the fortitude that Ni Yang possessed. "Compared to me, you're living in paradise." Compared to Ni Yang, Wu Yanyan was incredibly fortunate. At least she had parents who loved her, and in times of turmoil, a sister to protect her. Yet she failed to cherish it. In a past life, when Ni Yang was deep in the mire, she wished dearly for a benefactor to reach down and pull her up, but there were none. It took her a full 10 years to climb to a future of success. Wu Yanyan had no right to speak of fairness now. Having said that, Ni Yang walked away, arm in arm with Emochishan. Wu Yanyan lay on the ground, sobbing uncontrollably. "Yanyan." Just then, a familiar voice sounded overhead. "Sister Jiao Jiao?" Wu Yanyan's voice was hoarse. Du Jiao Jiao quickly helped Wu Yanyan to her feet. "What happened? Who bullied you?" "Nothing." Wu Yanyan hastily wiped away her tears. "I just fell down by accident." In her panic, Wu Yanyan glanced behind Du Jiao Jiao. Thank goodness. Thank goodness Grandfather Du wasn't there. If Grandfather Du saw her in such a wretched state, she wouldn't have the face to see him again. Du Jiao Jiao continued, "Are you really okay?" "Oh, I was about to go find Yang Yang. Do you want to come with me?" Wu Yanyan's expression darkened momentarily, shaking her head. "I have something else to do, so I won't go." "Oh," nodded Du Jiao Jiao. "But are you really okay?" Seeing Wu Yanyan in such an unusual state, Du Jiao Jiao was a bit worried. "I'm really fine." Wu Yanyan looked at Du Jiao Jiao, adding, "Sister Jiao Jiao, Ni Yang is two-faced and isn't worth getting close to. Be careful not to be deceived by her." After saying that, Wu Yanyan turned and walked away. Du Jiao Jiao stared at Wu Yanyan's retreating figure, taking a moment to process the situation. What was going on? Hadn't Wu Yanyan and Ni Yang been on good terms before? Why was she suddenly speaking ill of Ni Yang now? Did Ni Yang do something to betray her? But Ni Yang wasn't that kind of person. How strange. Burdened with doubts, Du Jiao Jiao continued to walk forward. After Wu Yanyan returned home, she planned to sort out all the things Ni Yang had given her. But as she was sorting, she realized that almost everything in the house was from Ni Yang. Clothes, review materials, backpacks. Even the house was Ni Yang's. It seemed that the only option was to pay Ni Yang back. When Yan Erju and Wu Jinshu got back, Wu Yanyan said, "Mom and Dad, can you give me some money? I need to pay Ni Yang back." Yan Erju said, "Xiao Yun, Yang Yang is your sister. How can you call her by her full name?" When did you ever borrow money from Yang Yang? She is not my sister. I've made that clear to her today. From now on, our family will keep our distance from her, and I will no longer use anything from Ni Yang. And yes, let's not live in her house anymore either. Let's move out. Have you lost your mind? Yen Erju frowned and said, everything our family has now was given by Yang Yang. Do you think you can repay that so easily? Do you know how much you're hurting her feelings? Yen Erju truly hadn't expected Wu Yenyun to change like this. This daughter had become almost unrecognizable to her. Wu Yenyun wasn't like this before. Wu Yenyun retorted, why can't it be repaid? Isn't our family construction company making a lot of money now? Can't we just pay Ni Yang back? At worst, repay tenfold. As far as she knew, the construction company was making thousands a month, and in good times it could make 10,000. The Wu family was certainly not short of money now. Although Ni Yang had bought her many things, if the items couldn't be returned, paying back the money would suffice. It was precisely because of this that Wu Yenyun felt so confident in front of Ni Yang. If it weren't for Yang Yang's financial support, could our construction company have even started? Wu Jinshu couldn't stand it any longer. Don't forget who helped you get where you are. Xiaoyun, we have to have a conscience as human beings. Paying back the money is easy. But what about the kindness? This favor couldn't fully be repaid. Without Ni Yang's guidance and help, Wu Jinshu's construction company would not have been able to make any money, even if it had been established. Wu Yenyun was an honest person, and he was well aware of his own limitations. Yen Erju continued, if you truly want to sever ties with Yang Yang, then go be a stepmother to Wu Chang's 2 children right now. Then we can go live in that dilapidated little house. You must have forgotten about the hard times after living so well for too long. Wu Yanyan's mind went boom. She couldn't understand why everyone was speaking up for Ni Yang. Even her adoptive parents were the same. Was it just because Ni Yang had money that everyone was trying to curry favor with her? Or was it because she wasn't their biological child, so they didn't really care about her? Wu Yenyun felt her life was like a joke. She had always been living in deception. Seeing Wu Yenyun like this, Yen Erju sighed, Xiaoyun, stop being so stubborn. Yang Yang is a sister that's hard to come by. You should treasure her. Listen to your mother. The bond between sisters only comes once. There is no next life. Does she deserve to be a sister? Why does everyone take her side? Just because she has money? Because I am not your biological child? Wu Yenyun turned to look at Yen Erju. Yen Erju was stunned, her eyes reddening as she looked at Wu Yenyun. She had always treated Wu Yenyun as her own daughter and never expected Wu Yenyun to say such a thing. What are you saying? Your mother has been so good to you. When did she ever not treat you as her own? Wu Jinshu also got angry because of Wu Yanyan's words. I am your daughter. Why do you always speak for Ni Yang? If you like Ni Yang so much, why did you pick me up in the first place? Go acknowledge Ni Yang as your daughter. Rather than enduring these pains, it would have been better if they'd let her die back then. Why let her live like this? Wu Yenyun, too angry to care, was just saying things she found satisfying and didn't realize how hurtful her words were. Yen Erju looked at Wu Yenyun, and tears flowed down like rain. 17 years ago, when Wu Yenyun was picked up, she had been so tiny. A baby fusses at night in the first month and needs to be fed several times. She didn't have breast milk, so in the dead of winter, she had to get up to feed her several times each night. It was not easy for her to raise the baby. She could never have imagined that one day Wu Yenyun would blame her for having picked her up in the first place. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1032. What is upbringing? Yen Erju looked at Wu Yenyun and just felt that her daughter was excessively strange. Very strange. Wu Jinshu realized something was off in the atmosphere and frowned as he spoke. Yenyun, what nonsense are you talking about? She is your mother. Without her, there'd be no you. Even if you're angry, you can't talk to your mother like that. Dad, Do you think you're not biased? Wu Yenyun said, her eyes brimming with tears as she looked at Wu Jinshu. You actually like Ni Yang too, right? In your heart, you wish Ni Yang was your daughter. Yes. How can someone as unsuccessful as me be fit to be your daughter? I'm sorry. I've disgraced you. Since you don't like me, you shouldn't have let her pick me up in the first place. Wu Yenyun had truly had enough. These past days, she had been living in Ni Yang's shadow. Everyone had been telling her to forgive Ni Yang, to forgive the Ni family. If she didn't, she would be seen as an ingrate. But had they ever considered that she was the victim? They had no right to accuse her. Wu Jinshu took a deep breath. After all, he was a man, so his endurance was much better than Wu Yanyun's. Yenyun, you're still young. When you grow older and have children of your own, when you become a parent, then you will know how difficult it is to raise a child. Go back to your room. You still have school tomorrow. Get some rest early tonight. Urju, let's go back to our room too. Wu Jinshu took Yen Urju's hand and walked back inside the house. If the standoff continued, the conflict would roll on like a snowball, growing larger and larger. Children are irrational. Parents cannot afford to be irrational as well. Urju, let's go. Wu Jinshu pulled Yen Urju back into the room and closed the door. Yen Urju lay on the bed, sobbing deep and muffled cries. For Wu Yenyun, in her younger days, she had endured so much from her mother-in-law. But now Wu Yenyun was treating her like this. No one could understand the sourness in her heart. Wu Jinshu consoled her. Urju, let it be. She's just a child who hasn't grown up yet. Just give it a few years, she will be fine. Why are you getting angry with your own child? Look at me, I'm not angry at all. Actually, our Yenyun is very sensible, it's just that she's a bit confused at the moment. Everyone has impulsive moments. She didn't do it on purpose. Yen Urju was speechless, her shoulders trembling. Is being non-biological really that significant? How could this child say such things to her? Yen Urju was not angry. She was heartbroken. Wu Jinshu continued, Urju, let it go. Yenyun didn't mean it. Don't be upset. It took quite some time before Yen Urju stopped crying. Only then did Wu Jinshu breathe a sigh of relief. Urju, you sleep first? They'll go check on Yenyun. As a father and the man of the house, at times like this, he could only act as the peacemaker, comforting both sides. A harmonious family leads to prosperity in all things. Yen Urju nodded. Go ahead. Wu Yenyun wasn't doing much better. Lying with her face down at the desk, weeping quietly. She felt the world was truly unfair. Even if she had not been the Wu family's biological child before, at least, her adoptive parents had treated her like their own. But now they had changed. They had become strangers to her. Today, if she was their biological child, they definitely wouldn't treat her like this. Yenyun. There came a knock at the door. Wu Yenyun sniffed and ignored Wu Jinshu outside. Wu Jinshu continued, Yenyun, I'm coming in. After a few seconds, Wu Jinshu pushed the door open from the outside. Wu Yenyun acted as if she hadn't heard these noises. Wu Jinshu brought a small stool over and sat next to Wu Yenyun. Yenyun, I've washed an apple for you. Do you want to eat one? Wu Yenyun said nothing. Wu Jinshu went on, Yenyun, I know you have difficulties and grievances, but you're not the only one in pain. Whether it's Yang Yang or Yang Yang's mom, they have their own hardships. Born in a tough time, everyone had no choice. Saying this, Wu Jinshu sighed. If you don't want to forgive them, your mom and I won't force you. But child, we cannot be people without conscience. Think about it carefully. Should you really treat your mom with that attitude tonight? No matter what, she is the person who raised you single-handedly. Without her, you wouldn't be here. Perhaps it was this sentence that struck a nerve in Wu Yenyun, as she suddenly looked up at Wu Jinshu. But I never begged you to raise me. Growing up, Wu Yenyun had never once resented her family situation, because she knew how hard it was for her parents to raise her. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Wu Jinshu and Yen Erju had never expected an Ai Yang to still be willing to call them godparents. They felt a complex mix of emotions. What does it mean to be well-bred? Perhaps this was it. Although Ai Yang and Wu Yenyun were blood sisters, the difference between them was more than just a little. Yang, thank you. Yen Erju held Ai Yang's hand, her nose slightly tingling. Ai Yang smiled faintly. Godmother, we should be the ones thanking you for raising Yenyun to adulthood. The visit to the Ai family left the couple with many emotions. Back at home, Wu Jinshu and Yen Erju instructed Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong. No matter whom they forgot in the future, even if they disrespected their own parents, they must never forget Ai Yang. Ai Yang had shown great kindness to their family. Wu Dalong and Wu Erlong nodded. Mom and Dad, don't worry. Erlong and I would never be as heartless as our elder sister. Meanwhile, at the Ai family's small courtyard, Shangguan she was carrying a bag, rushing indoors. She was hurrying and failed to notice a banana peel on the ground. Just as she was about to step on it, Ai Yang came from the opposite side and gently kicked it into a nearby trash can. Shangguan she gave a thumbs up. Yang, you could go play soccer with skills like that. Ai Yang laughed. I might just give it a try tomorrow. By the way, Sister Xiaoxi, why are you in such a hurry? Shangguan she said. I'm going back home to change clothes. I have things to do later. How about I give you a ride on my way out? Offered Ai Yang. Sure. Shangguan she nodded. Then I'll go change right now. Before long, Shangguan she came downstairs, changed into a pink down jacket, and had even applied lipstick, looking much prettier than usual. A fair lady is a gentleman's good match. Ai Yang teased. Sister Xiaoxi is dressed up so beautifully. Are you going on a date? A blush quietly crept onto Shangguan Zai's face. Are you really going on a date? Ai Yang asked. Aha! Shangguan she nodded. Ai Yang continued. Is your date with Zueling? Shangguan she nodded again. Shangguan had thought that Ai Yang would definitely try to persuade her not to be with Zueling, but Ai Yang didn't say much. She neatly fastened her seatbelt, started the engine, and drove away. Yang, aren't you going to advise me against being with Zueling anymore? Ai Yang smiled and looked back. If I advised you, would you listen? Shangguan she shook her head. Ai Yang went on. Since you wouldn't listen to me, there's no use in me saying more. Besides, I've always said that a fox will eventually reveal its tail. Ai Yang now had a better way to make Zueling show his true colors. There was no use in saying more. Zueling is not a fox at all, Shangguan she claimed. Ai Yang smiled slightly. Sister Xiaoxi, have you only been in love once? Shangguan she exclaimed in surprise. Yang, how did you know? Zueling was her first love and she was his. Ai Yang said, I can tell. Mainly because you're too naive, Sister Xiaoxi. Anyone with a bit more experience in love wouldn't be like you. Shangguan she responded speechlessly. Yang, you're several years younger than me. You talk as if you've been in many relationships. The car was fast, and it didn't take long to arrive downtown. You can stop here, Shangguan she said. Ai Yang pulled over to the curb. Shangguan she opened the door and waved at Ai Yang. See you, Yang. Ai Yang followed up. When will you return tonight? Sister Xiaoxi? They'll come to pick you up. Shangguan she waved her hand. No need. They'll take the bus back. After separating from Ai Yang, Shangguan she arrived at the cafe where she and Zueling had agreed to meet. By the time she arrived, Zueling was already there. Zueling was a very attentive person and very conscious of time. He never arrived late for a date, only early. Shangguan she really liked this about him. Xiaoxi, you're here? Zueling said as he immediately stood up from the sofa. Have you been waiting long? Shangguan she asked somewhat embarrassedly. Zueling shook his head. No, I just got here. As he spoke, he handed the menu to Shangguan she. Choose whatever you like, Xiaoxi. Shangguan she took the menu. I'll have a caramel macchiato. What about you? I'll have the same as you, Zueling said. In fact, Zueling didn't really like these kinds of drinks. He was just deliberately accommodating Shangguan she to create more common topics of conversation. Shangguanxi nodded. Waiter, 2 caramel macchiatos, please. Sure. Please wait a moment. After finishing their coffee, the two went to watch a movie. While buying tickets, a familiar voice rang out from behind. Shangguan Xiaoxi. Shangguanxi glanced back slightly, only to see Wu Qinjun approaching. Wu number 3. You're also here to see a movie. Sister Xiaoxi, hi. Standing next to Wu Qinjun was a girl about 17 or 18 years old, Wu Chenjin's younger cousin. Anan, you're here too. Zhou Anan nodded. I came with my brother. Xiaoxi, I've got the tickets, Zuoling said, coming over from the other side. Oh, then let's go quickly. Wu Qinjun lifted his chin slightly. Shangguan Xiaoxi, aren't you going to introduce us to this gentleman? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1034. I've heard so much about you. Shangguanxi smiled and said, This is my boyfriend Zuoling. This is my childhood friend Wu Qinjun. And this is his cousin Zhou Anan. Wu Qinjun took the initiative to reach out his right hand. Mr. Zhua, I have heard much about you. From a distance last time, Wu Qinjun thought Shangguanxi's boyfriend wasn't much to look at, and now up close, he seemed even less impressive. Shangguanxi's taste in men was questionable, to say the least. She actually liked this kind of pretty boy. Hello. Zuoling reached out to shake Wu Chenjin's hand. In the gaze that passed between Zuoling and Wu Qinjun, Zuoling knew that Wu Qinjun didn't come with good intentions. Perhaps he came because of Shangguanxi. Right. Shangguanxi was so beautiful. Who knows how many men outside coveted her. But even if Wu Qinjun liked Shangguanxi, what of it? Wu Qinjun lived in a small villa, drove a compact car, and still lost to him. So what if you have money? With money, you still get stepped on beneath my feet. Zuoling felt a full sense of superiority, reaching out to put his arm around Shangguanxi's shoulder. Xiaoxi, let's go inside. The movie is about to start. Okay. Shangguanxi turned her head to greet Wu Qinjun and Zhou Anan. We'll go in first then. Zhou Anan nodded. Okay. Sister Xiaoxi, you guys go ahead. Wu Chenjin's face remained expressionless, his eyes fixed on Zuoling's hand resting on Shangguanxi's shoulder. He wanted to chop off Zuoling's hand with an axe. Brother. Zhou Anan nudged Wu Qinjun. They're already far away. Damn. Wu Qinjun threw away the drink bottle in his hand, heart filled with an indescribable frustration. Brother, do you like Sister Xiaoxi? Zhou Anan asked tentatively. Wu Qinjun had been abroad for 3 years and only recently came back. During this time, his family had introduced him to many girls, but Wu Qinjun wasn't interested in any of them. Could it be that Wu Qinjun fancied Shangguanxi? Zhou Anan swallowed hard. Brother, you don't really like Sister Xiaoxi, do you? Wu Qinjun didn't speak. Zhou Anan continued. Brother, does Sister Xiaoxi know that you like her? I think her boyfriend isn't even half as handsome as you. Sister Xiaoxi's taste is really poor. If I were her. Wu Qinjun looked at Zhou Anan and cut her off directly. Go watch the movie yourself. I have something to do. I'm leaving first. With that, Wu Qinjun turned and walked away. Zhou Anan couldn't even catch up. After the movie ended, it was already past 6 in the evening. At 6 in the winter, it was already very dark. Zuoling escorted Shangguanxi to the bus station. The bus came every half hour, and when they arrived, the latest bus had just left. Zuoling looked around and then said, Xiaoxi, wait here for me for a moment. Shangguanxi nodded. It was quite a while before Zuoling reappeared in front of Shangguanxi. Unexpectedly to Shangguanxi, Zuoling was on one knee in front of her. What are you doing? Shangguanxi was startled. Several passengers waiting for the bus also seemed surprised. Zuoling looked at Shangguanxi, very earnestly. Xiaoxi, will you marry me? What? A marriage proposal. Shangguanxi covered her mouth, completely astonished. Zuoling took out a ring from his pocket. Xiaoxi, today is the 1198th day since we met, and also 3 years and 1 month. The great man once said, "Any romance not aimed at marriage is frivolous." I'm an honest man, not good at sweet talk, and because of my limited ability, I couldn't even prepare a decent ring for you. But I know that you are not a vain girl. This ring, although it's neither gold nor silver, represents my sincere heart. I love you, Shangguan Shi. Please give me the chance to take care of you. Ever since meeting Wu Chenjun, Zuoling always felt a sense of crisis. He was afraid Shangguan Shi would fall for someone else, as people tend to change. Who knows what Shangguan Shi would be like in the future? The most important thing was that Wu Chenjun was richer than him. So, the best solution now was to make Shangguan Shi a member of the Zhuo family quickly. Once Shangguan Shi became part of the Zhuo family, she wouldn't dare to entertain any whimsical thoughts. Zuoling knew girls too well. Girls like Shangguan Shi loved to hear sweet nothings because they were so naive and simple. A few words from a man could easily make them head over heels. So what if there's no diamond ring? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1035. I've heard so much about you. And I Tsuehua would marry Shangguan Shi even without a diamond ring. Shangguan Shi, with slightly red eyes, looked at Zuoling and had to admit that she was moved by him. Zuoling, Xiaoxi, will you marry me, please? Zuoling continued, although my salary is only a little over 100 yuan a month and I can't afford an expensive diamond ring, please believe me. One day, I will bring the most gorgeous diamond ring in the world before you. Please marry me. Upon hearing this, the passengers waiting for the bus were all stunned. Goodness, this young man is really impressive. He earns 100 yuan a month, and he's so good to his girlfriend. Such good men are really rare these days. Marry him, marry him. The onlookers began clapping their hands. This kind of atmosphere is the most misleading. Shangguan Shi reached out and took the ring made of wild grass. Nodded with her eyes slightly red. Okay. This answer was what Zuoling had expected, but he still pretended to be surprised, lifting Shangguan Shi up and cheered, "Thank you, Xiaoxi. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this chance." Being lifted up in front of everyone, Shangguan Shi was quite embarrassed. "Put me down quickly. The bus is about to come." Zuoling put down Shangguan Shi. The bus arrived shortly after, and Zuoling got on with Shangguan Shi. Shangguan Shi reminded him, "Zuoling, you got on the wrong bus. Your home is in the opposite direction." Zuoling smiled and said, "It's okay. They'll take you home." "Then how will you get back?" asked Shangguan Shi. Zuoling casually replied, "I'll take the bus back later. Taking you home is the most important thing now." Shangguan Shi was very fortunate to have a boyfriend as good as Zuoling. "Zuoling, thank you." Zuoling smiled and said, "We'll be family soon, you don't need to thank me." Shangguan Shi shyly lowered her head. Zuoling continued, "Xiaoxi, when do you plan to marry me?" He had already planned that after Shangguan Shi married him, he would have her quit her job at the factory, stay at home with peace of mind, tending the house and looking after the elders. After all, Shangguan Shi didn't make much money a month anyway. With Shangguan Shi around, there would be no need to hire a nanny, saving some nanny expenses as well. Shangguan Shi was so beautiful. She could hold her own in gatherings outside and serve as a nanny at home, and could have sons to continue the family line. Such a good wife was hard to find. He was really capable. He had wooed Shangguan Shi with just a grass-made ring. Could any other man do that? Zuoling felt more self-satisfied, and his smile widened. Shangguan Shi curiously said, "What are you smiling about?" Zuoling put his arm around Shangguan Zai's shoulders. "I'm just feeling secretly happy." Secretly happy? Shangguan Shi was slow to catch on. Zuoling continued, "To be able to marry such a gentle, kind, beautiful, and generous wife, how could I not feel secretly happy?" At these words, Shangguan Shi became even more embarrassed. Was she really that excellent in Zuoling's eyes? Zuoling added, "Xiaoxi, when exactly do you plan to marry me?" Shangguan Shi blushed and said, "It's not just up to me. I need to go back and ask for my parents' opinions to see what they say." Zueling nodded. Uncle has brought you up, so it's indeed important to ask his opinion. As for your aunt's opinion, you can either take it or leave it. After all, you have no blood relation with her, and she wasn't the one who raised you when you were little. That's not how you should speak. My mom is a very nice person. She cares a lot about me. Shangguan, she was not the type of ungrateful person. Her relationship with Enai Zuohua wasn't something that anyone could easily stir up with a few words. Zueling was a smart man. He knew he should play along with Shangguan Shi at this moment and not contradict her. Xiaoxi, I must have accrued good fortune in my previous life to be able to marry such an outstanding, kind-hearted girl like you this lifetime. Right now, to him, Shangguan Shi was more important than anything else. After getting married, he would be able to turn himself around and be the master. He wasn't afraid Shangguan Shi would divorce him. Given Shangguan Zai's standards, she couldn't find a better man than him. Even if Wu Qinjun was interested in Shangguan Shi, what could that do? Could Wu Qinjun accept a woman who had been with someone else? A second-hand one? He figured Shangguan Shi wouldn't have the guts to divorce him. Shangguan Shi couldn't read minds, nor did she know what Zueling was thinking, simply taking Zueling's words for heartfelt sincerity. Zueling, don't say that. I have many flaws too. Zueling said, it doesn't matter. I can accept all of your flaws. After a while, the car reached its station. Zueling dropped Shangguan Shi off at the entrance of the village before taking the bus back. When he arrived home, Zueling told his parents about his proposal. Hearing this, his mother, agitated, stood up and slammed the table. No way. I don't agree. You have to agree because I already proposed. Xiaoxi has even accepted. Zueling said. His mother, overwhelmed with anger and her heart pounding violently, said, foolish! Ling Ling, you're so foolish. That Shangguan Shi has neither looks nor family background. She is not worthy of you. Her son was a dragon among men. In ancient times, he could have married a princess or become a son-in-law to the emperor. What was Shangguan Shi? She wasn't even comparable to a sparrow. Zueling firmly stated, I'm going to marry Xiaoxi no matter what. I like Xiaoxi. Although her family background isn't great, she's educated, good-looking, and presentable. Saying this, Zueling casually picked up a fruit knife and placed it against his neck. Mom and Dad, if you don't let me marry Xiaoxi today, it'll end my life. Seeing Zueling with the fruit knife terrified his parents. They knew Zueling was the Zhuo family's only bloodline, their lifeblood. Without Zueling, what would be the point of their existence? Ling Ling, calm down, don't hurt yourself, his mother said anxiously. Give the knife to Mom, quickly. Be good, Ling Ling. Zueling stepped back. Mom, don't come any closer. Unless you agree to let me marry Xiaoxi, I'll die right here before your eyes. Zueling's father turned pale with fear. Ling Ling, my heart's joy, please put the knife down. Given the situation, his mother had no choice but to nod in agreement. Fine, I agree. I'll agree. She had underestimated Shangguan Shi. She was a sly temptress. Look how she had bewitched her son. Such a person deserved no good end. In her mind, his mother cursed Shangguan Shi 1,000 times over. Zueling excitedly said, Mom, you really agree? Really? His mother continued nodding. When has Mom ever lied to you? Ling Ling, please give the knife to Mom. The fruit knife was brand new, extremely sharp. If it accidentally hurt Zueling, that would be terrible. That wretch Shangguan Shi would go to the 18th level of hell. Mom, you really aren't deceiving me? Zueling was somewhat incredulous. Ling Ling, rest assured, Mom is not deceiving you, his mother said fervently. Zueling then said, Mom, then swear to me if you're lying, your son should never have a good death. Hearing this, his mother's brow twitched. This silly child, to joke about his own life for a woman. Damn wretch, sly temptress, you declare it, Zueling urged, implying strongly that if his mother didn't swear, he was ready to take his own life. Swear now. Zueling's father also urged his mother. Are you going to just watch Ling Ling hurt himself? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1036. A saying comes true at this point. Mothers will grudgingly raise 3 fingers. Fine, I swear. Seeing his mother had sworn the oath, Zuoling then handed the knife to her. Taking the fruit knife, mothers felt a sigh of relief. Zuoling continued, Mom, don't worry. Xiaoxi is a very good girl. She will take good care of you and Dad in the future. Mothers sighed. What's the use of being filial? She can't even give birth to a son. Ours family will be ruined by that woman. And who knows whether she's genuinely filial or just pretending. How filial can someone be who's bewitched her own son into threatening his parents with his life? Mothers was now seething with suppressed anger. Just wait. Once that little bitch Shangguan she marries into our family, shall see how we'll deal with her. Zuoling said with a smile, Mom, don't worry. After we get married, they'll have Xiaoxi quit her job to take care of you 2 at home, and then we can have 2 children. I guarantee every single one of them will be a boy. You guarantee? Mothers looked at Zuoling, trying to suppress the fury in her heart. You talk nicely, but what can you guarantee with? You must have been bewitched by that woman. It's not like you can just say it and it happens. People like Shangguan you can just tell she won't give birth to a son. Zuoling said with a smile, Nowadays, with the advancement of science and technology, as long as one is 5 months pregnant, you can find out the gender of the baby. When Xiaoxi is pregnant, we'll go to the hospital to check. If it's a girl, we just abort it, right? In the 1980s, the ultrasound was popular due to family planning reasons, and many families would go to unlicensed clinics to check the gender of the fetus during pregnancy. If it was a girl, they would abort it. If a boy, they would keep it. This laid a severe foreshadowing for the unbalanced gender ratio in later generations. Why would the dowry prices skyrocket in the future? Because there are fewer and fewer girls and more boys. Hearing this, mothers' eyes lit up. Really? Zuoling nodded. Would I lie to you? Mothers asked. How do you know this? Our co-worker Xiaosun just ended up with a big fat boy. Didn't his wife first give birth to a little girl? I heard they aborted 5 times before finally having a boy. They had a son, but the daughter-in-law's health was destroyed. But compared to a son, what's a daughter-in-law worth? If a woman divorces, she won't have a good reputation, but if a man's wife dies, he can still remarry. Mothers was still a bit uneasy. Are you so certain that Shangguan she will agree to the abortion? Zuoling said with a smile. Once she's married into the Zhuo family, she'll belong to our household, and by then, she won't have a say in the matter. That's also true. Mothers nodded in satisfaction. As she finished speaking, Mothers continued, It's just that her family background is somewhat inferior. Honestly, I think Lai Bao is better. That kid Lai Bao? Mothers hadn't finished her sentence before Zuoling interrupted her. Mom, please don't bring up that Chun Lai Bao again. Looking at someone like that just annoys me. I'm going back to my room to rest. Mothers watched Zuoling's retreating back and sighed. All right, don't be angry, Fathers said. I think Lingling has gotten quite thinner these days. Don't we still have Bird's Nest at home? Go stew some to nourish him. Compared to getting angry, of course, their son's health was more important. Mothers hurried to the kitchen to stew Bird's Nest. At the Anai family, during dinner, Shangguan she announced to her family the news of Zuoling's marriage proposal. Upon hearing this, there was a silence at the dinner table. Anai Zuohua looked at Shangguan she in surprise. Xiaoxi, you agreed? Shangguan she nodded. I think Zuoling is a very good young man, so I agreed. She had not agreed to Zuoling impulsively. She and Zuoling had 3 years of emotional foundation, and now agreeing to the marriage proposal felt natural. Anai Yang looked up at Shangguan she. Sister Xiaoxi, with what did Zuoling propose to you? Anai Yang was a bit afraid that Zuoling had been a freeloader. Of course, a proposal can't be without a ring, Shangguan she replied. This answer was indeed beyond Anai Yang's expectation. It seemed that Zuoling's character wasn't as bad as she had imagined. At least he used a ring to propose. She was really afraid that Zuoling couldn't escape the nature of a scumbag and would resort to freeloading. What kind of ring is it? Show us, old lady Shangguan said somewhat discontentedly. Shangguan, she said with a smile. A very unique ring. Shangguan, she was not a materialistic girl to begin with, and she hadn't suffered when she was younger. She thought that the straw ring given by Zuoling embodied the love mentioned in books. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Old lady Shangguan also nodded in agreement. I also think Yang is right. Zuoling is just trying to take advantage of you. Who uses a grass-woven ring for a proposal? You guys aren't playing house as kids. What era is this to use a blade of grass to take a wife? Even decades ago, this wasn't done. Old lady Zheng added, Xiaoxi, you're not married yet and Zuoling is already daring to deceive you like this. What will happen after marriage? Will he still regard you as a person? Shangguan, she fell silent, not saying a word. Shangguan, she, snap out of it. Don't let love blind you. That pretty boy Zuoling is not worthy of my sister. Shangguan Su flicked Shangguan Zai's forehead. Shangguan Zai's originally delightful mood was now washed away, leaving her somewhat depressed as she poked at the rice in her bowl. Saying less is more, as saying too much can backfire. Seeing Shangguan Shi like this, everyone else fell silent. It was just a precautionary shot for Shangguan Shi to brace herself mentally, so she wouldn't be overwhelmed by the truth when it came out. Meanwhile, at the Zuo family's home, mothers were brought Zuoling a bowl of bird's nest soup. Zuoling sat up from his bed. Mom, where did this bird's nest come from? Their family was decently off, but bird's nest was still a bit extravagant. It was given by Lai Bao a few days ago, mothers was said. I just finished cooking it. Eat it while it's hot. Zuoling received the bowl with both hands and tasted it. It's quite fragrant. Could bird's nest not be fragrant? Mothers were continued. I tell you, Lai Bao is a good girl. Her family has money, and her parents are still young. They can earn for many more years. If she marries into our family, not to mention bird's nest, even if you wanted dragon meat from the heavens, Lai Bao would find a way to buy it for you. Look at what Shangguan she brought last time she visited our home. Was she even half as sensible as Lai Bao? Bringing such cheap things on her first visit. How did her parents even raise her? Upon hearing this, Zuoling placed the bowl on the bedstand. I am eating. Can't you give it a rest? Blabbering on. It's so annoying. Mentioning that Chun Lai Bao just ruins my appetite. I can't eat. Mother Zua, looking anxious, said, All right, I won't speak of it anymore, just eat. Mother Zua then picked up the bowl of bird's nest again. After Zuoling finished the bird's nest, Mother Zua added, Did I hear that you proposed to Shangguan Shi? How did you propose? You didn't borrow money from someone, did you? Where would Zuoling get money for an engagement ring since he handed over his monthly salary to her? Zuoling laughed. Don't worry. Your son is so outstanding. I didn't need a ring to propose. I won Shangguan Shi over with just a wildflower. Really? Mother Zua looked incredulous. Absolutely. Zuoling boasted proudly. You should see who your son is. Mother Zua spoke again. That's true. Thinking about Shangguan Zai's situation. She must be dying to pay you instead. Getting a wildflower from you is already good enough. How could she even dream of anything else? Not to mention Chun Lai Bao. The Chun family's circumstances are certainly not poor. And yet Chun Lai Bao is still looking to win over Zuoling. Who would blame her son for being competent? If Shangguan Shi was capable, she'd have men paying her instead. Zuoling then asked, By the way, Mom, where did you store the leftover bird's nest? I placed it on the cabinet. Okay. Zuoling nodded. The next morning, while Mother and Father Zua were out for a walk, Zuoling secretly packed the remaining bird's nest into his bag and took it with him. Due to last night's ordeal, Shangguan she hadn't slept well and looked rather worn out by morning. During lunch, Zuoling asked with concern, Xiaoxi, what's wrong? Didn't you sleep well last night? Shangguan she shook her head. It's nothing. Zuoling held Shangguan Zai's hand and continued, by the way, Xiaoxi, have you told your uncle and aunt about us yet? Shangguan she shook her head. Not yet. I think it's too soon. We've only just met the parents. Should we rush into marriage? Shangguan she was very hesitant. She really liked Zuoling, but she feared he was just appeasing her. What would she do if everyone's words turned out to be prophetic? Xiaoxi, we've known each other for 3 years. Don't you trust me yet? Or has someone been setting you against me? I hate to say it, but your family situation is really complicated with stepmothers, stepsisters, and 2 elderly folks unrelated to you by blood. Xiaoxi, you're so kind. I worry they might deceive you. No one's stirring anything up. I just think it's too soon. They are all my family. They wouldn't deceive me. Shangguan she never considered Enai Tsuehua and the others as strangers. Zuoling sighed. Xiaoxi, you are too kind. By the way, I have something for you. Guess what it is? What is it? Asked Shangguan shi. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1038. Rather starved to death, Zuoling chuckled and said, Guess. What is it, really? Shangguan she was very curious. Could it be that Zuoling had bought her a ring? Zuoling took out the box he had prepared earlier. Seeing what was inside the box, Shangguan she was stunned for a moment. Bird's nest. Zuoling nodded. Yes, it's bird's nest. Bird's nest is a great thing, especially good for girls. Not only does it have beautifying effects, but it also nourishes yin and tonifies the lungs. I was actually thinking of buying you a ring, but then I thought, a ring is just for show and not really practical. It'd be better to improve your health, so I used the money for the ring to ask a friend to buy it from abroad. Zuoling's skill at deceit was profound. He could lie without batting an eyelid, making it seem as if the bird's nest really was something he had asked someone to buy abroad. He seemed to have completely forgotten who the real owner of this bird's nest was. Really? Shangguan she was taken aback for a moment, not knowing quite how to feel. Last night, she hadn't slept at all because of the ring, and now it turned out that things weren't at all what she had imagined. So Zuoling had her best interests at heart. She had misunderstood Zuoling. For a moment, the look Shangguan she gave Zuoling was filled with guilt. She felt she really owed Zuoling an apology. Zuoling was so good to her, yet she had doubted him. Zuoling smiled and said, I specially bought it for you. How could it be fake? Thank you, Zuoling. Shangguan Zai's eyes reddened slightly as she embraced Zuoling's silly girl. There's no need to be polite with me. Zuoling felt very pleased with himself. Over at the Zhuo family, Zhuo's mother was chatting with the neighbors about Zuoling's marriage proposal. Your Ling Ling must have spent quite a bit of money on the proposal, right? When my son proposed, he spent over 200 yuan on a ring, and that doesn't even include the bride price. Upon this topic, Zhuo's mother's face beamed with pride. Not at all, our Ling Ling didn't spend a penny. Really? Everyone expressed their doubts. Zhuo's mother continued, Would I lie to you? The girl really likes our Ling Ling. She virtually wants to pay dowry to us. How could she dare to let our Ling Ling spend a penny? What if our Ling Ling doesn't want her anymore? As these words were spoken, who wouldn't envy Zhuo's mother? How could she be so capable? To have such an outstanding son. Is Ling Ling's girlfriend the one who came last time? The tall, thin one? Yes, yes, yes. Zhuo's mother nodded. That's her. Aunt Wu, you've seen her, right? I saw her last time she came over. The girl is very pretty. In her heart, Aunt Wu thought that while the girl was pretty, she seemed a bit simple-minded. Otherwise, why would she fall for Zuoling? Chapter 1039. Rather starved to death, Zhuo's mother walked into the house with Chun Liebao. Ling Ling hasn't come back yet, you sit first. Auntie will go peel an apple for you to eat. Thank you, Auntie. Chun Liebao put the gift she had brought to one side. After a while, Zuoling returned. When he saw Chun Liebao sitting on the sofa, his face changed. How did you get here? He didn't even want to bother giving Chun Liebao lip service. But Chun Liebao didn't mind Zuoling's attitude at all. Stood up and said, Zuoling, you're back. Look what I brought you. A gift. This is a men's shirt I had my cousin bring back from abroad. And this, a Longines watch. I've heard many people like this watch these days. That watch, it seemed pretty nice. And as far as he knew, it was worth quite a bit of money. If he wore it to work, he would definitely look impressive. Not a single man doesn't love watches. The anger on Zuoling's face disappeared all at once. Chun Liebao observed the expression on Zuoling's face and carefully said, Shall I put it on for you? Zuoling didn't refuse Chun Liebao. Chun Liebao was overjoyed. Immediately helped Zuoling put on the watch. Look how good this watch looks. By the way, I bought a women's one for Auntie too. Really? Zuoling's mother came out of the kitchen. Really? Chun Liebao took out another watch box from her bag. Auntie, this is for you. Zuo's mother was delighted. Liebao, what do you want to eat tonight? Auntie will cook it for you. Chun Liebao said with subtlety. Anything Auntie cooks? I love to eat. Auntie, let me help you cook too. Zuo's mother refused. No need. No need. You just sit in the living room and chat with Lingling. Auntie can handle it. Chun Liebao continued. By the way, Auntie, where's your nanny? Zuo's mother said. She said there was something urgent back home and asked for leave a few days ago. Chun Liebao nodded. Oh, I see. Normally, Zuoling would certainly not be willing to sit on the sofa and chat with Chun Liebao, this pigsy. But today was different. After all, he had just accepted Chun Liebao's watch. What if Chun Liebao got upset and regretted giving it? A true man can be flexible. What TV do you want to watch? Zuoling picked up the remote control and asked for Chun Liebao's preference. Chun Liebao looked shy. Whatever channel you tune to, I like to watch. Zuoling felt goosebumps rise all over his skin. He really couldn't stand it. This Chun Liebao. Although Zuoling really disliked Chun Liebao, he still endured the nauseating feeling and randomly selected a channel. Chun Liebao now had no interest in watching TV. Her gaze full of tenderness fixated on Zuoling, as if she wished she could marry him and have kids right then and there. I need to use the bathroom. Zuoling couldn't take it anymore and stood up from the sofa. I'll go too. Chun Liebao also stood up. I'm going to the bathroom. Why are you following? Zuoling turned to look at Chun Liebao. Chun Liebao said lovingly, I'm accompanying you. Zuoling, fighting back the urge to vomit, quickly headed towards the bathroom and closed the door behind him. Zuoling sat on the toilet for more than half an hour before he went to open the door. Zuoling, are you okay? Zuoling had thought Chun Liebao would have left. He wasn't careful and bumped into Chun Liebao. Chun Liebao stretched out her hand to hold Zuoling's head. Zuoling, how can you be so careless? Are you okay? Zuoling's head was firmly pressed against her chest by Chun Liebao, and he was nearly suffocating. Let go. Let me go. An opportunity like this was rare, and Chun Liebao wasn't stupid. She had no intention of letting go. Chun Liebao was quite heavy and strong. How could Zuoling compete with her? After a full 5 minutes, Chun Liebao finally let go. Zuoling, are you okay? It was truly disgusting. How could Chun Liebao be so shameless? Zuoling immediately covered his mouth and rushed to the bathroom to throw up. The sound of retching was loud. He wished he could vomit out everything he had eaten the night before. In no time, his face turned pale. Chun Liebao squatted beside Zuoling. Zuoling, are you okay? What's wrong? Why are you throwing up? Do you feel unwell? Do you need to see a doctor? Zuoling was fuming inside, but he couldn't show it outwardly. I'm fine. I just need to lie down on the bed for a while. Please step aside. I'll help you to your room. No need. Zuoling waved his hand, feeling like vomiting at the sight of Chun Liebao. Chun Liebao shook his head in frustration. Right. How could a sick person walk? I should carry you to the room. Hearing this, Zuoling looked at Chen Liebao with a face full of terror. Before he could react, he was scooped up by Chen Liebao, as effortlessly as an eagle picking up a chick. After carrying Zuoling to the room, Chen Liebao considerately covered him with a blanket and checked the temperature of his forehead with her hand. Zuoling was nearly disgusted to death by Chen Liebao and finally couldn't take it anymore. "Would you please leave? Are you sending me away?" Chen Liebao looked at Zuoling with a face full of hurt. "Get out. Don't make me repeat myself a third time. I'm going to rest now." Disgust was written all over Zuoling's face. Chen Liebao looked at Zuoling unwillingly. "But I want to stay with you. I really like you and you know it." Zuoling looked at her coldly. Chen Liebao wasn't intimidated by Zuoling's demeanor. If anything, she seemed even more smitten. She really liked Zuoling too much. Zuoling was speechless. He couldn't understand how someone could be so shameless. Didn't Chen Liebao know what she looked like? She, resembling Zhu Beiji, fancied him? She showed not the slightest self-awareness. Zuoling suppressed the churning in his stomach, turned over, and faced away from Chen Liebao. Chen Liebao, with her hands propping up her chin, gazed at Zuoling with infatuation, wishing she could burn 2 holes in his back. After a while, mothers were finished cooking and called them to eat. With a Zhu Beiji around, how could Zuoling have an appetite? "Mom, you all go ahead. I'm not hungry." Mothers knew Zuoling disliked Chen Liebao, and his lack of appetite was due to his disgust for her. "If you're not eating, so be it. Let's go, Liebao, we're going to eat." Chen Liebao was concerned for Zuoling. "How can you not eat? Man is iron, food is steel, you'll get hungry if you skip a meal." "Zuoling, come on. Get up. Let's eat together." "I'm not eating." Zuoling's attitude was somewhat unfriendly. Mothers were immediately snapped at Zuoling. "You child? How can you talk to Liebao like that?" Chen Liebao waved her hand. "It's fine, Auntie. I just love Zuoling's personality. This is what makes him so manly." Her last words came with a look of infatuation. Zuoling couldn't take it anymore. He felt like he was going to be disgusted to death by Chen Liebao. This fatso. When was she going to stop? He couldn't stand it anymore. "I said I'm not eating. Aren't you annoying?" Zuoling couldn't help but shout. Chen Liebao clenched her hands into a fist. "Ah, he's getting more and more manly." Zuoling. Mothers was sported a proud grin. How could her son not be outstanding? Someone was even willing to chase after him with such fervor. Chen Liebao continued, "Zuoling, if you don't want to get out of bed to eat, that's okay. They'll bring the food over and feed you later." Feed him? He would rather starve than be fed by that fatso. Zuoling was startled and immediately threw off the blanket. Standing up from the bed, "I'll go. All right? You just leave my house after you've finished eating." Meanwhile, at the Anai family's house, Shangguan she took out the bird's nest that Zuoling had sent and showed it to Anai Zuohua. "Mom, we misunderstood Zuoling yesterday. He isn't belittling me. Instead, he used the money for buying a ring to purchase bird's nest. He said that rings are flashy but of little substance, and it's better to buy bird's nest to nurture my health. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1040. Set a trap. Although these birds' nests aren't top grade, they're still imported from overseas and are much more expensive than a regular gold ring. With the Zhua family's financial capability, for him to buy these birds' nests for Shangguan she was indeed quite remarkable. Could they really have misunderstood Zuoling? For a moment, Anai Zuohua wasn't quite clear about the truth. Are these birds' nests really from Zuoling? Old Lady Shangguan, holding little Anai Yun, came over from the other side. "Really, Grandma?" Shangguan she nodded her head. "Do I need to lie about something like this?" Old Lady Shangguan picked up a bird's nest and inspected it carefully. "It couldn't be fake, could it? Grandma, why don't you trust Zuoling?" Shangguan she said speechlessly. "He's not the type of person to fool me with fake stuff." Right then, Anai Yen also walked in from outside. Shangguan she hurriedly waved to Yen. Yang Yang. Come here for a second. Yen walked over. What's up, Sister Xiaoxi? Shangguan she continued. Yang Yang. Do these birds' nests look fake to you? Yen picked up a bird's nest. Imported from Malaysia. They're not fake. Go ahead and eat them. Birds' nests are very good for women. Hearing Yan's response, Shangguan she felt relieved. See, I told you these birds' nests aren't fake. How could Zueling give me fake birds' nests? Zueling gave these? Yen looked at Shangguan she somewhat surprised. She really hadn't expected Zueling to gift Shangguan she such precious items. That was really odd. Shangguan she quickly explained the reason to Yen. Upon hearing this, Shangguan she raised her eyebrows slightly. Sister Xiaoxi, didn't you ever think that these birds' nests could have been given to Zueling by someone else, and he just passed them on to you? With Zueling's character, Yen found it really hard to believe that he had bought these birds' nests to gift to Shangguan she. Could a tight-fisted person pluck feathers? That's totally illogical. Impossible, Shangguan she said firmly. Zueling wouldn't deceive me. Yen nodded. Sister Xiaoxi, it seems to me you're getting in deeper and deeper. It seems some things needed to be initiated earlier. Yen squinted subtly. Shangguan she laughed. Oh well, I just trust Zueling, just like you trust Mo Qixin. A shallow dimple appeared on Yan's face. If Mo Qixin dares to deceive me like that, he'll smash his head in, far away in a foreign land. Attending a meeting, Mo Qixin sneezed out of the blue. Who was thinking of him? Could it be his wife? A faint smile curled up Mo Qixin's lips, wrapping the outside snow and bringing a chilling cold. The people at the conference table shivered. Big boss, please stop smiling. So terrifying, Shangguan she said. If our family's Zueling dares to deceive me, then I will also smash his head in. Yen laughed. Sister Xiaoxi, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Chapter 1041. Appointment with Li Tong. One more update. After arranging it with Li Tong, Yang hung up the phone. The next morning, Yang drove to meet her. Truth be told, she didn't want to drive, but it was too cold now, and riding a bike would have taken courage. When she arrived, Li Tong was already there. Yang, over here. Li Tong stood up and waved at Yang. Yang walked over with a smile. Tong, how come you're so early? She was worried that Li Tong might wait for her, so Yang had purposely come 10 minutes early. But Li Tong had arrived even earlier. Li Tong said, well, I have the day off today and nothing to do at home. Yang handed the box she was holding to Li Tong. Tong, this is the newest product from Frosty Jade Skin. Why don't you try it out? New product? The mention of those 3 words lit up Li Tong's eyes. Frosty Jade Skin's products were in such high demand that ordinary people couldn't even buy the limited editions, let alone new ones. Wow, what's this new product? Is it a face mask? Li Tong immediately opened the packaging. Frosty Jade Skin already had a milk pearl powder face mask, but face masks didn't usually look like this. So Li Tong was very curious, wondering exactly what this was. Yang explained with a smile. This is a snail essence eye mask, which can lighten crow's feet and under eye lines, as well as reduce dark circles. It is quite effective. Dark circles would appear from staying up late, and no matter how much foundation you applied, you couldn't completely cover them up. This eye mask was simply a savior for night owls. Good skincare products shouldn't stay the same forever. So recently, Frosty Jade Skin had not only added eye masks but had also launched several affordable skincare products. Of course, good things were meant to be shared. Eye mask? Do you use it on your eyes? Li Tong continued to ask. Exactly. Yang nodded. Li Tong followed up. Yang, thank you. How much is it? Although she hadn't used this eye mask yet, Li Tong was already a loyal fan of Frosty Jade Skin. She believed that Frosty Jade Skin wouldn't disappoint her. The eye mask must be really good. Yang replied with a smile. This is a new product, currently in the trial phase. Just let me know how it works for you afterward. there's no need to pay. Li Tong wasn't the kind to take advantage. No way, Yang Yang. I can't accept the eye mask if you're not taking the money. And I Yang took a sip of coffee. Tong Tong. If you really feel bad about it, then do me a favor instead. What favor? Just tell me, said Li Tong. And I Yang began speaking softly. Hearing this, Li Tong patted her chest and said, No problem. Leave it to me. I promise I'll take care of it. Then I'll have to trouble you. It's no trouble at all, Li Tong continued. Yang Yang, if you ever need help with anything in the future, just let me know. Since she wasn't working today, Shangguan she spent time on a date with Zueling. Zueling brought up marriage again. Regarding the matter of marriage, Shangguan she was also somewhat at a loss. After all, it was a commitment for a lifetime, and she wanted to think it over properly. Xiaoxi, do you not love me? Zueling asked. Shangguan she replied, No, I love you very much. Zueling, why would you think that? Zueling continued, If you love me, why won't you marry me? Especially since you've already accepted my proposal. Zueling was anxious. The longer the delay, the more likely it was that Shangguan she might be snatched away by Wu Chenjun. Shangguan she thought for a moment and then said, Zueling, this is a matter for a lifetime. I need to discuss it with my family and prepare a lot of things. Have you already discussed it with your uncle and aunt? Zueling replied, My parents really like you. They can't wait for me to marry you. There's no need for discussion. They are just waiting for your response now. After all, he had even threatened with his own life once, so his parents didn't dare to disagree. Shangguan she said, Don't worry, Zueling. I'll pick a good day soon to talk to them about this, and I promise you won't have to wait too long. Shangguan she was in a hurry too. Her family had many misconceptions about Zueling and continuously disapproved of her marrying him. Was she supposed to secretly take her household registration book and sneak off to the Civil Affairs Bureau to register? But doing so would surely anger her parents once they found out. Hearing Shangguan she say this, Zueling no longer pressured her. Then I'll wait for your good news. Shangguan she nodded. Zueling continued, By the way, Xiaoxi, I had a friend bring back a gift for you from abroad again. What gift? Shangguan she asked, her face alight with surprise. This time Zueling didn't let Shangguan she guess and directly pulled a beautifully wrapped gift box from his pocket. Xiaoxi, why don't you open it and see? As instructed, Shangguan she opened the gift box and saw, nestled in the red velvet, a gorgeous Longines watch. Do you like it? Zueling asked. To ordinary people, a Longines watch was extremely luxurious, but for Shangguan she it was hardly worth mentioning. For example, the foreign brand watch on Shangguan Zai's wrist was more than 100 times more expensive than the Longines. Unfortunately, Zueling didn't realize the worth and thought Shangguan she was wearing a no-name watch. Still, since the watch represented Zueling's sentiments, Shangguan she exclaimed with delight, I love it! Thank you so much, Zueling. A Longines watch cost over 200 yuan, and although it wasn't expensive, it at least proved Zueling's sincerity toward her. Just as N.I. Yang had said, if a person has 1 yuan and is willing to give it all to you, that's real love. Real love is priceless. Zueling earned only a bit over 100 yuan a month, yet he was willing to give her a watch worth over 200 yuan. That was real love. Shangguan she was overjoyed to have found such a good man in this lifetime. Let me help you put it on, Zueling continued. Shangguan she nodded and took off the watch she was wearing to pocket it. With disdain, Zueling said, Xiaoxi, that watch of yours is all worn out. Why keep it? Just throw it away. Shangguan she replied, This watch was a gift from my dad. It holds special meaning. Zueling nodded. I see it's from your father, then it shouldn't be thrown away. After helping Shangguan she put on the watch, he raised his own left hand and said, Look, Xiaoxi, now our watches even match. Shangguan Zai's smile grew even more joyful. Wearing the watch Zueling had given her, the thought of marrying him grew increasingly stronger. Shangguan she had made up her mind. If her family still didn't approve, she would be bold for once. Zueling was such a good person. She believed her family would understand her. Zuoling dropped Shangguanxi off at her home, then headed to his own place. As soon as he got home, Mothers were asked with a stern face, "Lingling, did you take my watch?" That watch had been a gift from Chun Liebao to her, and she hadn't even had the chance to wear it before it disappeared. Zuoling nodded. "Yes, what about it? What did you take my watch for?" Mothers were demanded. Zuoling sat down on the couch. "I gave it to Xiaoxi." "What?" Mothers were nearly shrieked. He had given it to Shangguanxi? He had actually given that expensive watch to that little bitch. "Do you know how much that watch cost?" Mothers' face turned red with anger. Without a care, Zuoling picked up an apple. "It's just a watch, right? Is it worth all this fuss? Besides, Xiaoxi is not an outsider. She's about to marry into our family. That watch costs over 200 yuan. Over 200 yuan. I couldn't even bring myself to wear it. And there you go, giving it to that little bitch without even blinking an eye." They weren't even married yet, and her son was already so enamored with that little bitch. What would happen if they did get married? "Go right now and get that watch back from that little bitch. Go now." Mothers were pushed Zuoling toward the door. Speechless, Zuoling said, "Mom, is it really worth it? I'm your son. Do I mean less to you than a watch?" Mothers were yelled, "It's my watch. What gives you the right to give it to that little bitch? If you don't want to get it, then I will go to that little bitch myself and get it. That damned little bitch, daring to take her things." Zuoling continued, "Mom, calm down. Xiaoxi is going to marry into our family soon. We can just have her return the watch later. Right now it's not going to happen. We're at a critical point. If you screw up our affair at this time, then I might as well be dead." After saying that, Zuoling casually picked up the fruit knife on the table, appearing as if he were about to commit suicide. Mothers was terrified, her face turning deathly pale. "Lingling, drop the knife. Put down the knife." Zuoling placed the fruit knife down. "Mom, don't worry. Once Xiaoxi steps into our home, you can treat her however you want, and I won't stop you. But not now. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1042. Beauty Trap, Second Update. He had to appease Shangguanxi properly now. If he ruined the relationship at this time, wouldn't all his previous efforts be wasted? With suppressed frustration, Mothers was said, "Fine, fine, fine. I won't look for her. Is that not enough if I don't look for her?" Zuoling responded with satisfaction. "If you had acted like this earlier, I wouldn't have needed to get involved." At that moment, a voice came from the kitchen. "Wife, where did you put our bird's nest?" Birds' nests usually have some feathers, so the task of picking them fell to Father Zua. Hearing the words bird's nest, Zuoling's brow twitched, and the apple in his hand suddenly lost its appeal. Mothers was said, "Isn't it on top of the cabinet? Look carefully." "There's nothing. I only found an empty box." Fathers were replied. Mothers were, already full of anger and nowhere to vent it, snapped, "You useless idiot. You can't even find something as big as a bird's nest. What can you even do properly?" Fathers were replied grievously, "There really is only an empty box." Just then, Zuoling continued, "Mom, I took the bird's nest." "You took it?" Mothers were looked at Zuoling in surprise. "What did you need the bird's nest for?" As soon as she finished speaking, Mothers were realized, "Oh no, you didn't take our family's bird's nest to give to that little bitch, did you?" By the last sentence, Mothers' voice had changed. Zuoling nodded. "Yeah." Mothers were really wanted to slap Zuoling to death, but looking at her beloved son's face, she couldn't bring herself to do it and instead took out her anger on Father Zua. "You useless idiot. Look at your great son. Oh my God. My bird's nest. The bird's nest I couldn't bear to eat myself was wasted on that little bitch." Mothers were hit and punched Father Zua. She was furious. Father Zua was so angry he wanted to scold Zuoling, but he couldn't bring himself to do it and had to suppress his anger. That night, when it was time to sleep, Mother's felt more and more uneasy as she kept tossing and turning. She was heartbroken. There might be a chance to get the watch back, but not the bird's nest. Who knows? The bird's nest might have already ended up in that little bitch's stomach. Sleep, just sleep, Father's said helplessly. It's gone, let it be. Anyway, the Liebao family is rich, so we'll just ask Liebao to give us another one later. Mother's responded angrily. Liebao is not a fool. Our Lingling is about to marry that little bitch. Would Liebao still send stuff to our house? Father's then suggested. Then we'll just have to deceive Liebao. It's not like they are getting married right away. Mother's thought this was a good idea and paid a visit to Chun Leibao's house the next day. That visit indeed proved to be very fruitful. Morning light group. When lunchtime arrived, Zuoling was anxious to meet Shangguanxi, and he hurried to the cafeteria. He accidentally bumped into someone, and it was a beauty. Ouch! Are you blind? I'm so sorry, are you all right? Zuoling immediately apologized. He knew this beauty, her name was Li Tong, and she worked in the department next door. It was said that Li Tong's family had a powerful background and had connections with the company's CEO, which was why she managed to have an office job. Li Tong looked up, saw Zuoling's face, and froze, a blush coloring her cheeks. It's okay. Zuoling also froze. As an experienced player in love games, he knew exactly why Li Tong was blushing. It was clearly the look of a young girl struck by love. Could it be that Li Tong had fallen for him? He was so handsome, youthful, and promising. With a high education level, it was completely normal for Li Tong to fall for him. Zuoling's heart raced. You see, Li Tong had far better qualifications than Shangguanxi. Shangguanxi had only her looks. Li Tong had the looks, the body, the education, not to mention her family background. Shangguanxi couldn't compare to even 1/10,000th of Li Tong. Zuoling hadn't even come back to his senses when he heard Li Tong ask, "What's your name? I don't think I've seen you before." Hearing this, Zuoling pointed to his work badge and said, "Im Zuoling." Li Tong nodded. "Im Li Tong. Just call me Tong Tong." Tong Tong. Zuoling's heart immediately fluttered. A woman wanting to be addressed so intimately clearly meant something significant. "I have to go ahead for something else," Li Tong said, then walked in a different direction. Zuoling wanted to follow her but was afraid of being too forward, so he stared at Li Tong's back for a long time. Li Tong was beautiful and had a particularly cold demeanor. Several male colleagues in the office had tried to pursue her, but all had eventually given up. Over time, no one dared to pursue Li Tong anymore. Zuoling hadn't expected Li Tong to treat him differently. The more Zuoling thought about it, the more excited he became. So much so that he was distracted while having dinner with Shangguanxi. As they ate, Shangguanxi said, "Zuoling, I mentioned us to my parents last night, but they seem to misunderstand you and temporarily don't approve of our relationship. I'm so sorry." Shangguanxi felt very guilty, as Zuoling had been waiting for her, but she kept disappointing him. Zuoling must be very upset right now? Zuoling said, "It's okay. It's okay." Seeing Zuoling like this, Shangguanxi thought he was angry and continued, "Zuoling, I've made up my mind. They'll sneak our household registration book from home. Let's quietly go to the Civil Affairs Bureau and register our marriage." "Oh, okay." Zuoling nodded absent-mindedly, then suddenly realized something was off. "No, Xiaoxi, what did you just say?" Had Zuoling been too excited and hallucinated? Shangguanxi repeated what she had just said with a smile. "What? Register for marriage?" Zuoling was startled and accidentally knocked over the soup bowl on his dinner tray, spilling the pork rib soup all over the table. Shangguanxi quickly stood up to wipe the table. "How about it? Are you really excited now?" Shangguanxi thought that Zuoling must be too excited about the news. In fact, had he not met Li Tong an hour before, Zuoling would indeed have been very excited. After all, he had always wanted to marry Shangguanxi. But not now. Not that he never would, but at least he had no immediate thoughts of getting married. because he was unsure whether Li Tong was really interested in him. If Li Tong really liked him, and he was already married to Shangguan Shi, wouldn't he miss out on Li Tong? Therefore, he couldn't register the marriage with Shangguan Shi for the time being. Zuoling gathered his thoughts and then said, Xiaoxi, I think matters of marriage still need the approval of our parents. After all, they have worked hard to raise you, and it wouldn't be fair to them if we were to act this way, would it? Before he pursued Li Tong, Zuoling wouldn't easily break up with Shangguan Shi. What if he hastily broke up with Shangguan Shi? But Li Tong didn't like him. Wouldn't it all be in vain? After speaking, Zuoling added, Xiaoxi, misunderstandings are okay. I believe I can clear up your uncle and aunt's misunderstandings about me with sincerity. Registering hastily not only disheartens the elders but also makes them feel that I am unreliable, Xiaoxi. I don't want to put you in a difficult position. I am willing to wait. Zuoling spoke righteously, and Shangguan Shi was very moved. She hadn't expected Zuoling to consider her perspective to such an extent. It seems they had misunderstood Zuoling before. Shangguan Shi suddenly felt very sorry for Zuoling. Zuoling, thank you. Thank you for thinking so much for me. Actually, I still have something I've been hiding from you. Lovers shouldn't keep secrets. She shouldn't have hidden her family background from Zuoling. She should be honest with Zuoling. Just then, Zuoling suddenly saw Li Tong. Li Tong was walking this way. He absolutely couldn't let Li Tong see him with Shangguan Shi. Zuoling suddenly stood up and said, Xiaoxi, I suddenly feel a bit unwell. I'm going back to the office. Hearing that Zuoling felt unwell, Shangguan Shi said with a concerned face, Zuoling, are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital? No, I'm fine, Zuoling continued. I'll just rest at the office for a bit. Don't follow me. Go ahead and eat. As he finished speaking, Zuoling ran off like a shot. Shangguan Shi didn't think much of it. Assuming Zuoling was just concerned she hadn't eaten enough. Back at the office, Zuoling finally breathed a sigh of relief, thankful that Li Tong hadn't seen him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to explain. That evening after work, afraid of being seen by Li Tong, Zuoling made an excuse to work overtime and sent Shangguan Shi home first. The next morning, when Zuoling showed up at the office again, he was startled, because Li Tong had been transferred to their office. Upon seeing Zuoling, Li Tong turned towards him and took the initiative to greet him. Zuoling, good morning. We're in the same office now. I'm sitting right next to you. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1043. Zuoling is hooked, Part 3. Zuoling looked at the enthusiastic Li Tong and thought he must be hallucinating. The aloof and stunning Li Tong was actually taking the initiative to greet him. Zuoling felt countless envious gazes turning towards him. Oh my God! He couldn't be dreaming, could he? Zuoling pinched the inside of his thigh hard. Ouch! It hurt. He wasn't dreaming. Zuoling looked up at Li Tong. Tong, Tong, Tong. Li Tong smiled slightly. Please enlighten me on work-related matters in the future. Of course. Zuoling nodded. If you have any questions about work, just ask me. Thank you, Zuoling. Li Tong casually picked up a paper bag from the desk. To thank you, I'm treating you to breakfast. Zuoling sheepishly accepted the breakfast bag. When a woman takes the initiative to show favor to a man, her intentions are all too obvious. Li Tong must have fallen for him. Maybe she even moved here for him. Zuoling thought smugly to himself. During the lunch break, Li Tong went to talk with other female colleagues, while a few male colleagues surrounded Zuoling. Zuoling, you dog. You even tamed a beauty like Li Tong. Zuoling, share some tips with us. Exactly, you can't keep these tips to yourself. You have to share with us all, so we can all win a beauty. Zuoling was very pleased inside, but he feigned humility. Actually, I didn't do much. Maybe I just happened to be the type Li Tong likes. Zuoling, you can't be serious. Are you still hiding something? Another colleague chimed in. Hey, do you guys know who Li Tong is? She's the factory manager's niece. The factory manager's niece? Zuoling looked at the colleague who spoke in surprise. Really? Although he knew there was some connection between Li Tong and the factory manager, he didn't know Li Tong was actually the niece of the factory manager. Their factory manager was in her 50s, still unmarried, without any children of her own. If Li Tong really was her niece, then she was almost like a daughter to her. After the factory manager passes away, the factory would belong to Li Tong. Of course it's true. I once saw Li Tong come out of the factory manager's office, calling her auntie. Now, isn't that proof enough that she is the niece? As soon as others heard that Li Tong was the manager's daughter, their expressions changed as well, their eyes revealing even more evident envy. Oh my God! Oh my God! Zuoling, you can't forget us when you make it big. Zuoling, you must have stepped in a fortune to be seen differently by the future factory manager. Zuoling, you've got to seize the opportunity, humor Li Tong well, and you could be the future factory manager. Everyone was saying their piece, and Zuoling was also extremely excited. Just like everyone said, if he really married Li Tong, then he wouldn't just be the son-in-law of the factory manager, he would be the future factory manager. In the future, the thousands of people in the factory would be under his command. No, he had to seize the opportunity that lay before him. It seemed that these days he needed to maintain a proper distance from Shangguanxi. He couldn't let Li Tong find out anything. Shangguanxi had clearly felt Zuoling distancing himself from her these past days. During lunch, he wouldn't come to the cafeteria but ate in the office instead. And after work, he didn't wait for her anymore. What was wrong with him? Could it be because of the marriage matter he was angry? Shangguanxi stood in front of the window, letting out a deep sigh, and just then, she was embraced from behind. Zuoling! Shangguanxi turned around in surprise, and the person was indeed Zuoling. Zuoling said, Xiaoxi, we've been really busy in our department recently. I'm sorry I've neglected you. Li Tong had taken the day off and wasn't at the factory, so Zuoling dared to be so bold. Moreover, he had been estranged from Shangguanxi for such a long time. If the estrangement continued, what if Shangguanxi was deceived by someone else? Besides, Zuoling hadn't confirmed his relationship with Li Tong yet. He couldn't afford to give up the sesame for the sake of the watermelon, ending up seeing neither the watermelon nor the sesame. One must always be prepared for both possibilities. The gloom of several days instantly vanished with Zuoling's explanation. Shangguanxi smiled and said, It's okay. Work is important. I thought you were angry with me. In his heart, Zuoling chuckled at how silly Shangguanxi was, but sweetly said on the surface, How could I be? Xiaoxi, you are the one I love the most. How could I be mad at you? Shangguanxi's face blushed a bit, and she pushed Zuoling away. Don't be like this. I'm telling the truth, Zuoling declared with conviction. In my heart, no one is more important than you. Right, tomorrow is Saturday. Let's go see a movie together. Before the movie, let's go out to eat first. Shangguanxi nodded. All right. I just so happen to have something to discuss with you this Saturday. Shangguanxi didn't want to keep hiding it from Zuoling any longer. She trusted Zuoling. He wasn't the kind of person who cared about family background. The next day was Saturday. Zuoling arrived early at the spot he had arranged with Shangguanxi but found Li Tong there instead. This made Zuoling anxious. What if Li Tong saw him with Shangguanxi? No, he couldn't let Shangguanxi come over now. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he could put on a good show in front of Li Tong. Zuoling quickly found a phone and called Shangguanxi. Hey Xiaoxi, something came up today. My mom isn't feeling well, and I have to take her to the hospital, so I can't meet you. Sorry, let's go watch a movie next week instead. Upon hearing this, Shangguanxi became very nervous. Is Auntie okay? Which hospital are you at? I can come over and visit. As a girlfriend, she naturally had to visit when her boyfriend's mother was sick, bring some good nourishing gifts to make up for her previous rudeness, and also take the opportunity to foster a good mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationship. Zuoling continued, Xiaoxi, it's not necessary to go through all that trouble. My mom, she doesn't have a serious problem. It's cold now, and there are many germs in the hospital. If my mom transferred her illness to you, then I'd be the guilty one. Just take good care of yourself at home for now. I have to go now, bye. Shangguan, she wanted to say more, but the call had already been disconnected. He was in such a rush. But thinking that Zhuo Ling's intentions were for her own good, Shangguan's heart grew sweet as honey. After hanging up, Shangguan, she thought she shouldn't keep Zhuo Ling waiting any longer. She had to quickly get her family's approval for her marriage to Zhuo Ling. To win over her family, she had to first convince Grandma Shangguan. Once Grandma Shangguan gave her approval, nobody would dare to object. Thinking this way, Shangguan, she brewed 2 cups of ginseng tea and headed to Grandma Shangguan's room. Since it was Saturday, Grandma Shangguan was sitting on the couch chatting with Shangguan Furong. Grandma, Aunt Furong, this is the ginseng tea I've just made. Aren't you going out to have fun today, Xiaoxi? Shangguan Furong asked with a smile. Shangguan, she smiled. I was planning to go see a movie with Zhuo Ling, but his mother suddenly got sick, so we canceled today's date. Shangguan Furong took a sip of the ginseng tea. Xiaoxi, are you and Zhuo Ling still dating? Yes. Shangguan, she nodded. This child is too stubborn. Everyone in the family says that Zhuo Ling isn't suitable, but she is set in her ways. Grandma Shangguan turned to Shangguan Furong. Furong, do you know what Zhuo Ling proposed to Xiaoxi with? Thinking of this, Grandma Shangguan's heart filled with indignation. She could rant about it to Shangguan Furong for days on end. Shangguan Furong responded with surprise. My goodness! Zhuo Ling has proposed? Yes, he did. Grandma Shangguan continued. This scatterbrained niece of yours agreed too. Xiaoxi, bring out the engagement ring Zhuo Ling gave you. Let Aunt Furong have a look. Shangguan, she said, exasperatedly. Grandma, why do you still remember this? Didn't Zhuo Ling already buy me bird's nest? Besides, he also gave me a watch later on. Shangguan Furong was confused. Mom, Xiaoxi, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Grandma Shangguan recounted the whole incident to Shangguan Furong. After understanding the full story, Shangguan Furong said, Xiaoxi, your grandma is right. You are too naive. I think this Zhuo Ling is trying to pull a fast one. But in the end, he still bought me bird's nest and a watch. Shangguan, she protested. Xiaoxi, you are just too young, Shangguan Furong continued. Marriage is a lifelong matter. How could you be so hasty in deciding? Besides, look at the young ladies around you besides you, who is wearing a ring made of wild grass. From this, it's clear that Zhuo Ling doesn't value you at all. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1044. It's Always Crazy Once, Part 4. Upon finishing her words, Shangguan Furong continued, Moreover, I suspect that those birds' nests and watches weren't even bought by him. A man who can use wild grass to propose, what else can't he do? If the Zhuo family couldn't afford a ring, that would be one thing, but money is certainly not an issue for them, which indicates that Zhuo Ling doesn't really care about Shangguan Shi. What kind of good life can you expect with a man who doesn't hold you in his heart? Little aunt, Zhuo Ling really isn't like that. I've known him for 3 whole years, and I also feel that a ring is not practical. It just gets in the way when worn on the hand. Compared to that, she preferred birds' nests and watches. Shangguan Furong helplessly shook her head. Xiaoxi, I think you're completely bewitched. Madame Shangguan picked up the conversation. Xiaoxi, not only does your little aunt disagree with you being with Zhuo Ling, but even your great aunt thinks that there's a big problem with Zhuo Ling's character. The whole family opposed this marriage, and only Shangguan Shi herself couldn't see the actual truth. Perhaps this is what it means to be blind when you're involved in the situation. Shangguan, she said very firmly, I don't care. I just want to marry Zhuo Ling. I don't agree. Madame Shangguan was just as firm. Xiaoxi, your mother passed away early, and I have a responsibility towards you. I can't just watch you jump into a pit of fire with my own eyes. Grandma, please, Shangguan, she clung to Madame Shangguan's arm, nearly in tears. Zueling and I truly love each other. He's not a pit of fire. Please bless us. Madame Shangguan was no fool. She knew she couldn't afford to be soft-hearted at this time, because Zueling was not a good man. At the side, Shangguan Furong tried to persuade Shangguan Shi. Xiaoxi, your grandmother is only thinking of your best interests. We won't speak of family backgrounds, but just consider Zueling's character. He's not worthy of you, and besides, his family situation is too complicated, with 7 sisters. If you really marry him, you're going to regret it one day. Although Zueling claimed that his family didn't favor boys over girls, Shangguan Furong felt he was lying. How could such a family not favor boys? No, I won't regret it. Shangguan Shi continued. And there's no problem with Zueling's character at all. Everything he does is for my sake. He has my best interests at heart. Shangguan Furong shook her head helplessly. Grandma, I beg you. I've never asked you for anything from when I was small until now. This is the first time, please agree, will you? All those in love are the same. They long to be with the one they love and pray for their family's blessing. The so-called feelings of happiness and sweetness fill their hearts completely, making them deaf and blind to everything else. They focus solely on being with their loved one, unafraid of even a future of hardship and darkness. Shangguan Shi was a prime example. She was someone who would disregard everything for love. In life, you have to be crazy at least once. Madame Shangguan understood Shangguan Zai's nature well. If she were to refuse outright, she feared that Shangguan Shi might do something extreme. She sighed and said, Xiaoxi, let me think about it. Hearing this, a glimmer of hope flashed in Shangguan Zai's eyes. Grandma, do you agree? Madame Shangguan said, I can't give you an answer just yet whether I agree or not. I'll let you know when I've made up my mind. As long as Madame Shangguan was willing to compromise, it meant there was still hope for the matter. Shangguan, she said with a smile. Then, Grandma, you must think it over. Zueling really is an outstanding grandson-in-law. I'll never regret marrying him. All right. Madame Shangguan waved her hand. Go on out. I have some things to discuss with your little aunt. As she spoke, Shangguan Shi turned and walked out. I'll go then. Whenever you're ready. Grandma, just let me know. After Shangguan Shi had left, Madame Shangguan sighed. This child, Xiaoxi, is really becoming more and more like her mother. Su Fan, back then, was even crazier than Shangguan Shi. They were both people who would do anything for love. Shangguan Furong nodded and sighed. Yes, Xiaoxi has grown up so fast, but some things feel like they only happened yesterday. As she spoke, Shangguan Furong's tone changed as she continued. But Mom, do you really plan on agreeing to Xiaoxi and Zueling being together? Do you think I, as her grandmother, could just watch her jump into a pit of fire? Madame Shangguan retorted. Is this a delaying tactic? Shangguan Furong asked. Madame Shangguan nodded. Xiaoxi can be quite extreme sometimes. If I didn't say it this way, I'm afraid she would do something earth-shattering. Shangguan Furong sighed softly. But this can't continue forever. You can't keep dragging it out. Can you? Madame Shangguan looked up at the window. Let's wait until Yang comes back tonight. Then he'll discuss it with her. That child is the cleverest when it comes to ideas. Later that night, when Yang came back, Madame Shangguan eagerly pulled Yang into her room to talk about Shangguan Zai's situation. Upon hearing it all, Yang said with a smile, Grandma, you don't need to worry about this matter. I believe that in a few days, Sister Xiaoxi will break up with Zueling on her own. Really? Lady Shangguan couldn't believe her eyes as she looked at Yang. Yang nodded slightly. Really? Yang, do you know something? Or did you do something? Lady Shangguan asked out of curiosity. Yang responded with a mysterious smile. It was just a little trick. Yang trusted herself and she trusted Li Tong. Hearing this, Lady Shangguan instantly felt relieved and said with a smile, Ah, Yang, with your words, I can rest easy. The next day was Sunday, and Ni Tsuehua and Shangguan Dehui went to the orphanage as usual. Time flew by and another week passed. That week, Zuoling was still incredibly busy. So busy that he barely had the time to see Shangguanxi. Today was an exception. Zuoling, afraid that Shangguanxi might suspect something, said first, "Xiaoxi, have you and your family discussed our marriage?" Upon mentioning this, Shangguanxi looked at Zuoling with a face full of guilt. "I'm so sorry, Zuoling, for making you wait so long. I've already talked to my grandmother, but she hasn't given me an answer yet." Zuoling took Shangguanxi's hands and spoke tenderly. "It's okay, Xiaoxi. I understand you, and I can wait for you." On closer inspection, Shangguanxi was actually even more beautiful than Li Tong. But Li Tong was better at dressing up. Each had their own merits, and if possible, Zuoling truly wished he could have them both. Unfortunately, that was not possible. If only Shangguanxi had a background like Li Tong, then he would definitely choose Shangguanxi. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Shangguanxi was just a country girl. Zuoling no longer wanted to play act with Shangguanxi, especially since Li Tong was now more important. But he had already wasted a full 3 years on Shangguanxi and recently even gave her bird's nest and a watch. These gifts couldn't just be for nothing, and those 3 years couldn't have been wasted. So he wanted to extract some interest from Shangguanxi. How? Of course, by sleeping with Shangguanxi. During their years together, aside from occasionally holding hands, they hadn't even shared a kiss. Zuoling's calculating mind was working overtime, but Shangguanxi was completely unaware that she had become prey in Zuoling's trap. "Xiaoxi, do you have time this Saturday?" "Yes." Shangguanxi nodded. Zuoling followed up, "Then let's meet at the cafe under the blossom on Saturday." "Okay, Zuoling, don't worry. I will definitely give you a satisfactory answer on Saturday, and on that day, I also have a long-hidden secret to tell you." This secret was something Shangguanxi had intended to reveal to Zuoling the previous week, but it was postponed due to his mother falling ill. Ordinarily, Zuoling would have been curious about Shangguanxi's secret, but today he was not curious at all. The person he wanted to marry wasn't Shangguanxi, so naturally, he had no interest in her secrets. In fact, if Zuoling had asked now, Shangguanxi would have told him about the issue with her family background, because she felt guilty towards Zuoling. Unfortunately, Zuoling didn't ask. It didn't matter if he didn't ask. She would personally come clean on Saturday. After exchanging a few words with Shangguanxi, Zuoling returned to his office. As soon as he had settled into his seat, Li Tong leaned over to ask him a question. Zuoling could distinctly smell the fragrance of Li Tong's perfume, and it immediately stirred his desires. When he returned home in the evening, his mother came to him again, speaking ill of Shangguanxi. She hoped her son would give up on Shangguanxi and marry Chen Liebao. Zuoling said with a smile, "Mom, I think you're right. Shangguanxi really isn't my match." "Oh my dear son, you've finally come to your senses," his mother said excitedly. "Then tomorrow, I will go to the Liebao family and settle things between you and Liebao." Zuoling continued, "Chun Liebao isn't my match either. Mom, you're underestimating your son. Compared to Li Tong, what was Chun Liebao worth? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1045. Everything is under control, fifth watch. Zuo's mother was flustered. It was normal for Shangguanxi not to match Zuoling, but why now did Chun Liebao also not suit him? "Lingling, could it be that you're dating someone new?" Zuoling shook his head. "Mom, do you know who is pursuing me now?" Although Li Tong hadn't explicitly pursued him, she had always been showing him goodwill and even moved to the same office as him. Wasn't that pursuing him? "Who?" Zuo's mother asked. Zuoling proudly said, "Our factory manager's niece." "The factory manager's niece?" Upon hearing this, both Zuo's father and mother widened their eyes in surprise. My goodness! Their son was too impressive. He was even getting chased by the factory manager's niece. Zuoling continued, also, our factory manager situation is quite special. She's over 50 this year, never married, and has no children. When she gets older, the factory will definitely go to her niece. Before Zuoling could finish, Zuo's mother impatiently said, My goodness, Lingling, then you'll be the big boss of the factory in the future. Zuo's father equally excitedly said, I always knew our Lingling was capable. Zuoling nodded smugly. The entire Morning Light group would be his in the future. How could he not be proud? At this moment, Zuoling was also feeling lucky. Thankfully, he hadn't married Shangguanxi. If he had, wouldn't he have missed out on Li Tong and the position as factory manager? Zuo's mother then asked, So, have you broken up with Shangguanxi yet? Zuoling shook his head. I haven't had the chance to break up yet. I plan to clarify things with her this week. Zuo's mother said, Don't wait for this week, just clear it up tomorrow. And remember, make her return the bird's nest and the watch. If she refuses, I'll go to her myself. Zuoling continued, Mom, don't worry, I know how to handle it. Zuo's mother then asked, What's the name of your factory manager's niece? How old is she this year? Zuoling said, Her name is Li Tong. She's very beautiful, just a few years older than me. Had this been in the past, Zuo's mother definitely would not have approved. Joking aside, her son was so outstanding. How could he settle for an older wife? But now, in the face of money and background, none of these were problems. As the saying goes, an older woman brings gold bricks. The older the better. Zuo's father nodded in agreement. I think what your mother is saying is quite right. Lingling, you can't disdain her. Zuoling smiled and said, Don't worry, Mom and Dad. I absolutely won't disdain her. Zuo's mother continued, Yesterday, Lai Bao brought more bird's nest and ginseng. Mom will use a beautiful box to package it. You take it to Li Tong. Zuoling said, Mom, now that I'm going to be with Li Tong, please don't let Chen Lai Bao come to our house anymore. What if Li Tong misunderstands? Besides, now just seeing Chen Lai Bao was revolting. Zuo's mother said, That won't do. If Lai Bao stops coming, who will bring bird's nest and ginseng to our house? Who will buy your clothes? Once you and Li Tong's relationship is confirmed, only then can I clarify things with Lai Bao. Zuo's mother was no fool. How could she sever ties with the Chen family while things were still uncertain? Half of the Zuo family's sustenance was provided by Chen Lai Bao. Chen Lai Bao could be considered a money tree for the Zuo family. Now it was perfect to use Chen Lai Bao's gifts to support Li Tong. Zuo's mother's abacus clicked very loudly. Everything was within her calculations. Concluding her words, Zuo's mother continued, Lingling, keep up the effort on your end. Try to win over Li Tong as soon as possible. Preferably make it a done deal, so she can't leave you. Only then can I comfortably reject Lai Bao. Okay, Mom, Zuoling nodded. On the other side, as Saturday was quickly approaching, Shangguanxi found her grandmother. Grandma, have you finally decided about me and Zuoling? She was truly very anxious. This time, she didn't want to disappoint Zuoling again. She wanted to give an explanation both to herself and to Zuoling. Grandmother Shangguan said, Marriage is a lifetime affair? Xiaoxi? What's the rush? I still need to think it over. Shangguanxi speechlessly said, But you've been thinking for more than a week. Grandmother Shangguan chuckled. All good things take time. Don't be anxious, Xiaoxi. These words were instructed by Ni Yang to say. Ni Yang's exact words were that within this week, Shangguanxi would definitely have a change of heart and see Zuoling's true face. All she needed to do was to keep delaying Shangguanxi. Shangguanxi knew that her grandmother was intentionally dragging out the time. She might as well not say too much to the elderly Mrs. Shangguan. After all, no matter how much she said, they would never approve of her relationship with Zuoling. It seemed she had to resort to desperate measures now. That very night, Shangguanxi sneaked into the study room and managed to get a hold of the family household registration book. She planned to confess her true family circumstances to Zuoling on Saturday and, while at it, register their marriage. Once it's done, Let's see what everyone has to say then. Time flew by quickly, and soon it was Saturday. Dressed and ready, Shangguan she headed out to her appointment. But strangely, when she arrived at the cafe under the flowers, she did not find Zhueling there. Normally, he would arrive more than an hour early. Could something have held him up? Shangguan she randomly picked a seat and sat down. And right then, a waiter approached her. "Excuse me, are you Miss Shangguan?" Shangguan she nodded. The waiter handed her a note. "This was left for you by a Mr. Zhua." Chapter 1046. Scumbag exposes true colors. Awakening. 6th update. Facts were facts. And Ni Yang did not want to conceal anything. Du Jiao looked at Ni Yang in surprise. No wonder. No wonder, I always thought you two looked a bit alike." Although Wu Yenyun did slightly resemble Ni Yang, her features were not as stunning. Beauty lies in the skin as well as in the bones. Compared to Ni Yang, Wu Yenyun lacked a lot of natural charisma. Wu Yenyun was the gentle lady locked in the boudoir, while Ni Yang was indeed the world-conquering beauty in brilliant attire. These two fundamentally couldn't even be compared. Ni Yang just smiled. When Du Jiao learned that Ni Yang had saved Old Master Du, she thoroughly investigated Ni Yang's background. She knew about Ni Yang's life experiences. She also knew Ni Yang had 3 sisters who were abandoned due to the preference for a male child. "Does Yenyun know she is your sister?" Du Jiao continued to ask. Ni Yang nodded. "She knows." Du Jiao then said, "Is she blaming your grandmother for abandoning her, and that's why she bears a grudge against you?" "Maybe." Ni Yang's tone was indifferent. "She blames me and my mother for not protecting her." Du Jiao frowned slightly. "It's understandable that she blames your aunt, but if she also resents you, then that's unreasonable. How old were you at that time? What could you have done?" Ni Yang was also just a child at that time. She probably had only just started to walk steadily. How could she have stopped Grandma Mu from throwing away the children? Ni Yang just smiled silently. Du Jiao continued, "Have you explained it to her?" "I have." Ni Yang shrugged. "But she wouldn't listen." Not only did she not listen, but she also saw Ni Yang as a completely wicked villain. Fortunately, Ni Yang was rather open-minded and didn't mind these issues. If it were someone else, Wu Yanyan's heartless words could probably kill them with frustration. Du Jiao sighed. "Every family has its own troubles. Alright, let's not talk too much about this, let's go over there and take a look." Ni Yang nodded, took Shangguan Zai's hand, and followed Du Jiao's steps. After the 3 of them left, Wu Yenyun emerged from behind the cover. She had a hunch. They were just discussing her. Ni Yang must have spoken ill of her to Du Jiao, stirring up trouble, reversing right and wrong. Perhaps by now, she's already a villain who cannot discern good from evil in Du Jiao's eyes. It was so unbearable. Why should Ni Yang malign her behind her back? Wu Yenyun bit her lip hard, her face full of resentment. Yet now, aside from feeling aggrieved, she had no other option. Ni Yang was too shrewd, winning hearts effortlessly. Even if she rushed to explain, Du Jiao wouldn't believe her. In front of Ni Yang, she had no choice but to accept her fate. But she didn't want to. Ni Yang didn't have as much drama as Wu Yenyun. During the dress fitting, her pager beeped. Seeing the message on the pager, Ni Yang's mouth curved slightly, and she turned her head to call Shangguan Shi, "Sister Xiaoxi." Shangguan Shi was busy picking out clothes for Zhueling, hearing Ni Yang calling her. She turned her head towards Ni Yang. Yang, what's the matter?" Ni Yang continued, "Sister Xiaoxi, I suddenly feel like drinking Dubai pear juice. Could you buy me a bottle? I've walked too much today, I really can't walk anymore, and they sell it right over there." Shangguan Shi nodded. "Sure, Sister Jiao, would you like one too? They'll get you one." Du Jiao smiled and said, "That would be kind of you, Xiaoxi. You're welcome." With that, Shangguan Shi, picking up her bag, walked in that direction. The moment Shangguanxi left, Wu Qinjun arrived. Yang Yang, what did you want to see me for? And I Yang smiled and said, let me introduce you to my good friend Du Jiaojiao. Sister Jiaojiao, this is my sister's admirer, Wu Qinjun. On hearing this, Wu Qinjun's face flashed an awkward expression. He had never shown any irregular behavior in front of Ni Yang, and he didn't know how Ni Yang had figured it out. Truly impressive. No wonder Shangguanxi liked her little sister so much. Ni Yang turned her gaze to Wu Qinjun. Brother Wu, do you like Sister Xiaoxi? Yes. Ni Yang was somewhat impressed by Wu Qinjun's courage to admit it publicly. It seemed that the elders in his family had not misjudged him. Wu Qinjun was indeed someone to whom one could entrust their life. Ni Yang nodded and smiled. So, would you like an opportunity to make a move now when she's vulnerable? Ah! Wu Qinjun was stunned, not immediately grasping Ni Yang's meaning. Ni Yang pointed in a direction. Sister Xiaoxi went over there. You can go find her. Whether you can win Sister Xiaoxi's heart during this opportunity is up to you. Now Wu Qinjun understood. Ni Yang was trying to matchmake him with Shangguanxi. Thank you. Wu Qinjun seriously said his thanks and then strode in that direction. If this worked out, he would definitely thank Ni Yang properly. Du Jiaojiao came over and nudged Ni Yang's arm. Beauty, what kind of potion are you selling in your gourd? Ni Yang smiled and said, probably matchmaking potion. She genuinely hoped that Shangguanxi would find true happiness that belonged to her this time. As Shangguanxi walked along, she suddenly saw a very familiar figure. That was Zuoling? Shangguanxi was stunned. Wasn't Zuoling supposed to be busy with something? Why was he here? And the woman standing next to Zuoling looked somewhat familiar. Was that Li Tong? Working in the same department, Shangguanxi had some impression of Li Tong. Why was Zuoling with Li Tong? Just as Shangguanxi was about to approach Zuoling, at that moment, Zuoling suddenly took Li Tong's hand. Yes, he took Li Tong's hand. Shangguanxi froze, her footsteps halting. What was happening? Just then, she heard Zuoling continue. Tong Tong, I like you. I've liked you for a long time. What? Shangguanxi's face turned pale, her blood running cold at that moment. Was she hallucinating? Li Tong curved her lips into a smile, her gaze passing Zuoling and looking towards Shangguanxi across from them. You like me? Isn't Shangguanxi your girlfriend? You have a girlfriend. How can you say such things to me? Aren't you afraid Shangguanxi will hear and get angry? Zuoling was stunned. He hadn't expected Li Tong to know about his and Shangguanxi's relationship. But Zuoling quickly recovered, his expression filled with affection. Shangguanxi? What is Shangguanxi? She doesn't even compare to your little finger. Tong Tong, the person I like is you. I want to be with you. Could you give me a chance? Li Tong raised her eyebrows. You shouldn't say that. You've been with Shangguanxi for 3 years. If you don't like her, how could you endure her for 3 years? Tong Tong, listen to me. I really don't like Shangguanxi at all. I don't feel anything for her. The only reason I've endured her for 3 years is because she kept pestering me relentlessly. I was driven to a corner. That's why I reluctantly agreed to her. Otherwise, how could a country bumpkin like Shangguanxi ever match up to me? Pestering relentlessly? So she was just a persistently annoying country bumpkin. That's just ludicrous. Shangguanxi never imagined that one day she would hear such disheartening words about herself from Zuoling. Tears blurred Shangguanxi's sight unknowingly. Li Tong continued, I don't see Shangguanxi as that kind of person. How can you prove what you're saying is true? Zuoling immediately held up 3 fingers. I can swear to the heavens. Li Tong laughed. If swearing were effective, then there wouldn't be so many heartbreakers in this world. How do I know you're not lying to me? Besides, I heard you've already proposed to Shangguanxi. This Li Tong was indeed the factory director's niece. She had quite the intelligence network. She even knew about that. At times like this, instead of denying everything, it might be better to just admit it openly. Perhaps Li Tong might even admire him more for it. Zuoling said, Actually, the proposal wasn't really my intention. I just wanted to placate her. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come without even preparing a ring. Tong Tong, you know what? I just took a ring made of wild grass. She still agreed. Can you believe it? Shangguan, she must be a fool. Ha ha ha. Li Tong chuckled. Then she really is a fool. Shangguan, she treated Zueling like a treasure, but in his eyes, she was even less than grass. What else is that if not foolishness? Hearing this, Shangguan, she could no longer bear it, and turned around and walked away. She was too heartbroken, not even watching where she was going, and bumped directly into a wall of people, her tears instantly staining the person's clothes. What's wrong, Shangguan Xiaoxi? Who bullied you? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report, so we can fix it as soon as possible. Wu Qinjun fell silent. I mean, it's about being secretly in love. Shangguan Xiaoxi, after all these years, how can you still be as clueless as before? His remark was ambiguous. Everyone around him could see that he liked Shangguan Shi, except for Shangguan Shi herself. In fact, Shangguan Shi really hadn't noticed. Ah, you have someone you secretly like? Wu Qinjun was handsome, well-educated, from a good family, and had studied abroad. Shangguan Shi thought he surely wouldn't lack girlfriends. It was unimaginable that Wu Qinjun had someone he secretly admired. Truly incredible. Wu Qinjun said with a smile. You can have a boyfriend? Why can't I have someone I secretly admire? Shangguan Shi sniffled. I didn't mean that. My point is your standards are so high. What kind of girl wouldn't be satisfied with you? Wu Qinjun sighed. I also want to ask her what she doesn't like about me, so I can change. Unfortunately, she doesn't even want to give me a chance to change. Shangguan Shi sighed too. Wu Qinjun, you are so pitiful. Compared to her, Wu Qinjun indeed seemed to be a lot more pitiful. This comparison made Shangguan Shi feel a bit more balanced in her heart. It seems that in this world, she wasn't the only pitiful person. I'm so pitiful. Does it make you feel a little better? Wu Qinjun turned his head to look at Shangguan Shi. Shangguan Shi paused for a moment, then said, Wu Qinjun, you're not making up this story just to comfort me, are you? Do I look like that great of a person? Wu Qinjun retorted. Seemed not really. Wu Qinjun continued, I'm serious. Do you want me to go beat up that pretty boy? There's no need. Shangguan Shi shook her head. Wu Qinjun frowned slightly. You still have illusions about him? That made sense. 3 years of a relationship was not something you could let go of just because you said so. A mysterious expression surfaced in the depths of Wu Qinjun's eyes. Felt like he was a little short of breath. Upon hearing this, Shangguan Shi immediately denied. How could that be possible? I'm not an idiot. After all Zueling has done, why would I still harbor any illusions about him? Why wouldn't you let me beat him up then? Wu Qinjun countered. Shangguan Shi said, because I'm afraid hell dirty your hands. For a scumbag like him, it's not worth it at all. Shangguan Shi had a clear sense of love and hate. At this point, she had completely given up on Zueling. Her family was right. A person with character issues like Zueling simply didn't deserve her. She deserved better. Now, she regretted not listening to her family earlier and leaving Zueling sooner. At the same time, Shangguan Shi was also thankful that she had uncovered Zueling's true colors early. If she had found out after getting married, it wouldn't have ended well. Thinking back, she realized how foolish she had been, to be deceived by Zueling so completely. She should have realized long ago that Zueling had ill intentions. Unprepared and on the slippery snowy road, Wu Yenyun tumbled to the ground, quite embarrassingly. But Wu Yenyun couldn't care about that now. She just wanted to expose Ni Yang's true face to Du Grandpa. Mr. Du, You must not be deceived by Ni Yang. She's a person with double standards. I am her biological sister, born from the same mother. Yet because they favored boys over girls, they abandoned me. Later, when Ni Yang knew for sure I was her sister, she hid it on purpose for fear I would take the Ni family's property. And moreover, she deliberately appeared before you. She wanted to seduce you, yet she already... Just then, Wu Yanyan's voice suddenly got stuck in her throat, as if someone had pressed pause, because Du Grandpa's hand suddenly gripped Wu Yanyan's jaw, tightening progressively while his slender knuckles turned white. The force was so great that pain twisted Wu Yanyan's facial features. Do you want to die? Although he was a follower of Buddhism, at this moment, he was enshrouded in a sinister aura, instilling a deep fear from the bones. Too terrifying. Having known Du Grandpa for so long, Wu Yanyan had never realized he had this side to him. Just when Wu Yanyan felt she was about to die, Du Grandpa gradually released his grip. Wu Yanyan watched Du Grandpa's fading back in a daze, gasping for air. After a long while, Wu Yanyan got up from the ground and walked home. Once home, Wu Yanyan hid in her room under the blanket and sobbed her heart out. It wasn't until dinner time that Wu Yanyan came out of her room. Yan Erju was startled to see Wu Yanyan's spiritless appearance. Xiaoyun, what's wrong with you? You're so pale. Are you feeling unwell? Wu Yanyan shook her head. Mom, I'm fine. Just have a bit of a headache. Maybe I caught a cold while wandering the mall this afternoon. Yan Erju followed up. Let's go to the hospital and have a look. No need. It'll be fine after eating and getting some sleep. Yan Erju frowned. If you're not feeling well, you must tell us. Okay. Wu Yanyan nodded. After Wu Jinshu returned home, Yan Erju told him about Wu Yanyan feeling unwell. Wu Jinshu worriedly suggested, shall we go check on Yanyan now? A headache is no joke. Okay. The couple approached Wu Yanyan's bedroom door and knocked for a long time, but there was no response from inside. Fearing that Wu Yanyan might be in trouble, they found a key and opened the door. They saw Wu Yanyan lying on the bed, her face abnormally red, lips covered with layers of white film. Yan Erju touched Wu Yanyan's head and exclaimed, My God! She's burning up. Yanyan is running a fever. Wu Jinshu said, I'll go and get the bicycle ready. You help Yanyan put on a coat, and let's rush her to the hospital. All right. As the Wu family's house was ideally located close to the hospital, the couple pushed the bike and in about 20 minutes, they had taken Wu Yanyan to the hospital. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc.,